back, everybody, to Planescape Ward Rats. I'm your GM, Eric Campbell. I'm here with the Ward Rats today. We're going to be kicking off the penultimate episode of our campaign. This is our first and last episode. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for being a part of this and tuning in and watching us just absolutely screw around in Planescape. Quick recap as we pick things up from where we last left off. I do want to go ahead and give everyone the big total. I think it was $4,269.69. I believe was the final total from our fundraiser last Sunday. So holy hell. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you all so much. Because we raised dramatically more than my foolish self anticipated, we are still experiencing the side effects of the unlocks from those fundraising goals. So there is more magical items to be handed out today, and there is some wild magic surges that are still taking place as we pick up in this cavernous labyrinth beneath the gambling hall that you guys were all in. It seems like you have wandered into like an entirely new place underneath Sigil. So as we kick things off, though, we're going to go ahead and get one order of housekeeping out of the way, and that is there is an Owlkin who needs some magical items. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll these up like I did last week. God's help me. And just so this is going to make Markia very happy. This is completely random and nothing is off the table. Whatever I roll is what you get. And last session, there were quite a few astonishingly powerful magical items that were randomly rolled. So I'm going to abide by the promises that I made, and I'm going to give you these magical items, even though they absolutely throw what I would consider an intercontinental ballistic missile into the plans of my campaign. So we're going to go ahead and start this up. Let's roll for you real quick, Markia. I'm going to roll a couple of times here. And first of all, I'm randomly rolling to see which magical table that I roll on first, and we're going to be doing this 4 times, I believe. 1, 2, 3.
Come on,
Okay.
big money. Teak loves gambling.
All right. Naturally. No, naturally. Okay, so
Big money, big money.
we are rolling on table 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. We are rolling on table H. Of course we are.
Big money. Come on, Teak.
Of course we are. All right.
Let's get something really big that would be very, very, very
I
irresponsible
hope
for
it's
Teak to
useful to
have.
you because luckily we've lucked out where the players did not get something that was completely useless.
Oh, no matter what it is, Teak will use it in some way.
Okay.
It'll
Good
be
to
a
know. Waste
Here
not.
comes another deck of many things.
Yeah, I know.
Second deck of many things.
Second deck of many things.
Then you can shuffle them together.
Okay, here we go. You are going to be receiving.
Come on,
Ooh,
come on, come
no.
on, baby.
You are going to be receiving a figurine of wondrous power,
Oh, nice.
an obsidian steed.
Oh, the steed.
Figurine of wondrous power is a statuette of a small beast, small enough to fit into your pocket. If you use an action, speak the command word, and throw the figurine to a point on the ground within 60 feet of you, the figurine becomes a living creature in the space where the creature would appear. Blah, blah, blah. Creature is friendly to you and your companions. It understands your language, obeys the commands you issue, and the creature will defend itself, but it'll take no other actions unless you tell it to do something. An obsidian seed. Okay, the polished obsidian horse can become a nightmare for up to 24 hours. That is, of course, a black steed with a flaming mane of fire and smoke coming out of its nose.
With an owl on its back.
With an owlkin on its back. If you have good alignment, the figurine has a 10% chance that each time you use it to ignore your orders. What's your alignment, out of curiosity?
Chaotic neutral.
You're fine. Including a command to revert to figurine form. If you mount the nightmare while ignoring your orders, your nightmare and you are instantly transported to a random location somewhere in Hades. Oh no. You don't have to worry about that though. Thankfully, because you're not a goody two shoes, your nightmare isn't going to hate you. All right. You have a majestic
I've
black.
just remembered there's another one of those figurines is like a giant owl, right? And so he could.
Yes.
There was a chance you could have rolled to be an owlin riding on a giant owl.
That is very true. So you have a majestic black steed with a mane made of fire, whose eyes also smolder with the hatred of Hades, and will answer your commands.
Oh.
All right,
His
I
name is Night Biscuit.
Night Biscuit.
Night Biscuit.
I rolled table H again.
Yes.
All right,
2
so
of them.
no, there are 2 of them. 13. You get a carpet of flying.
Yes.
For your nightmare. So you just a
You-
flying creature riding on a horse, riding on a flying carpet.
You can be an Owlkin monk sitting on the back of a nightmare on top of a flying carpet.
Yes. I'm a whole tattoo.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let me roll to see what size flying carpet you got.
Biggest one. Biggest one.
Oh
Or
my God,
smallest
this is the
one.
community's fault. The community did this.
Come
Okay.
on.
You actually got the smallest one, so it's 3 by 5.
Perfect.
That's the fastest one, though.
It can move up to 80 feet, but it only holds up to 200 pounds. So you're a poor horse. Make sure to shrink them down.
Okay. So
Night
200
Biscuit
pounds.
will not enjoy that. Yeah.
I just love the idea of a flying creature on a flying carpet. Just like, yeah, why
Well,
expend the effort?
If I remember correctly, and I could be getting this mixed up with the old Magic the Gathering card, but I think nightmares can also fly. I'd have to double check, but that'd be funny if it's a flying creature on top of a flying creature on top of a flying
That's
carpet, if that
amazing.
were true.
I thought I thought he could fly. I thought it was like
It
triple
could be
flying
mixed.
right now.
I'm from the old revised days of Magic the Gathering, so I could be getting that confused. Let's see. Okay. All right. Next magical item.
Okay. Okay. Something very, very powerful and irresponsible. Let's do it.
I mean, on her first roll, Mimi freaking got the Staff of the Magi.
You are correct. Nightmares have a 90-foot flying speed.
There you have it.
There it goes.
I didn't know that.
So you have a flying creature on top of a flying creature on top of a flying carpet. I rolled a 69.
Nice.
Let's see what you get. You are getting a Ring of Resistance.
Oh, nice. That's
So I'm
actually
gonna roll.
really nice.
I'm gonna roll to see which one it is. Ring of Resistance is no joke.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Roll
it's
me a
actually something I use.
Roll me a D10 real quick, if you would, please, Markia.
D10. Got it. There it is.
Okay.
Make it good.
For it. What'd you get? Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, I got a 5.
You got a 5. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a Ring of Lightning Resistance.
Nice.
All right. I believe this is your last item. So let's see what it's going to be.
Okay. Make it something soft and cool.
Come on,
Soft, cool,
Daddy.
and fluffy.
Broom off flying. Broom off flying.
I know, right? Okay. Let's see. 2D10.
Make it something like a hat, like I can wear, like I know they don't have any tiaras, but like a
A
tiara.
gem? You are getting a Gem of Brightness. Not
Oh, cool.
exactly a hat. Okay. It says,
You could put a gem of brightness in a tiara. Just embed it in the tiara.
Yeah.
1 second. Figurine, that's the figurine wondrous power. Gem of Brightness. If it has 50 charges. While you're holding it, you can use an action and speak 3 command words. First command word causes the gem to shed a bright light in 30-foot radius. Handy when you're in a cave. Dim light, 30 feet. A second command word expends 1 charge and causes the gem to fire a brilliant beam of light at one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. It requires a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or becomes blinded. Creature can't repeat the saving throw. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. The third
I'm
command.
sorry, what was it was a DC 15.
Oh, Gem of Brightness. Yeah, you should be able to just type that in on your D&D Beyond sheet and it'll pop
Yeah,
it
I
up.
just like to do shorthand real
Sure,
quick. What
sure,
was
sure.
it? I'm sorry. It was dexterity save?
Ooh,
DC
we lost you
15
there. Eric.
DC 15 con saving throw.
Thank you, Con. Of course, it's Con.
We don't have your
Right,
video.
cool.
We
Eric. I
lost
don't
your
know what's
camera
going on
there, Eric.
Oh, I died. Well,
Yeah.
Your last magical item was a gem of DM destruction.
DM murder?
Yeah, DM Elgato destruction.
Haha.
All you have to do is buy a piece of Elgato hardware, and the software will rebel against you.
Mm-hmm.
You forgot to attune your webcam, is what happened.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I'm back in Planescape. Okay, so yeah, that's
Yay.
and then the third command expends 5 charges, and the gem causes the gem to flare with a blinding light and a 30-foot cone. and each creature in the cone, no matter who it is, including allies, so be careful, has to make a saving throw or be struck by the beam with the second. Basically, it's the same as the first one, but it does it in a cone, so you can
Okay.
cause a blinding effect. Okay.
Excellent.
Um,
He will use them all very irresponsibly.
Excellent, as you well should. I do have to clear up one thing because Jody actually brought up something very important in instant message, which is we have to figure out specifically because Jody was given a Holy Avenger, which is the most horrifying.
Flubix was given a Holy Avenger and has no
Oh, and
need
then
for
you
it, so I
handed
was
it
going
over
to
to-
give it, and I will
Right.
give it to Celine when she comes back. So, and hopefully it's a great sword. I don't know.
I'm gonna roll it. Let's see what it is. What's the kind of sword that you use? It's a great sword, isn't it?
I use a great sword.
All right, I'm gonna randomly roll it. I am gonna keep this random, so we're gonna see what I get. -1. It is in fact a great sword.
Hey, look at that.
Perfect.
Yup. You are getting a Holy Avenger greatsword. Good lord. It's a +3 greatsword. If you hit a fiend or undead with it, the creature takes an extra 2d10 points of radiant damage. While you hold the sword drawn, it creates a 10-foot radius of light. All creatures friendly to you in the aura have advantage on all saving throws against spells and other magical effects. That is outrageously powerful.
Please never put that sword away.
If you have 17 or more
yeah.
levels in a paladin class, the radius increases to 30 feet. They have to be pretty close to you, though, is the only trade-off. They have to be within 10 feet to get that bonus, but you get it every time you draw it. Yeah, essentially, you have all been randomly gifted. A bunch of 5th level characters have all been randomly gifted some of the most iconic, powerful, and infamous magical items in the entire multiverse of Dungeons and Dragons. Gods help us. So we'll just see how that
Easy peasy.
how that works out for us.
Does Jody also get them, or is she sharing with Jason?
Oh, yes. Jody, you will also get them because you don't get access to Jason's.
Yeah, no, we have separate
Um,
inventories.
So, so then I will roll.
So then, even more of the
So
today.
then, yeah, here we go. We'll just keep doing this one more time. All right, sure.
Just be grateful that we're no longer doing the fundraiser, because otherwise, in the time that it's taking,
I'm
people
gonna
will be
send
donating
y'all-
more, and we're getting even more.
I'm going to send you up against an Elder Tarask that has the Infinity Gauntlet at this point. Okay. All right, Jody. First roll. Your magical item. Okay. You are getting table A. So, and on table A, you're going to be gifted. What is this? Oh, a first level scroll. So a scroll with a first level spell on it. Let's see, components, and we can figure out which spell it is in a minute. But yeah, that's your first magical item. Your second. Okay. Second one. Your little auto gnome. Keep in mind, you were technically. It's not entirely clear what you're supposed to do with these magical items, but they were intended for someone else, and you all managed to snatch them up. Oil of slipperiness. This is what we get for raising all those $69.69. The sticky black ungent, thick, heavy in the container, but it flows quickly when it's poured. Okay, so this is how it works. The oil can cover a medium or small creature, along with equipment it's wearing and carrying one additional vial. Applying it takes 10 minutes, but the affected creature gains the effect of freedom of movement spell for 10 hours. Freedom of movement means you're unaffected by difficult terrain. You cannot be paralyzed or restrained. The target can also spend 5 feet of movement to automatically escape any grapple check. And being underwater imposes no penalties on you whatsoever. You move as if you were on a green screen and not actually underwater.
Cool.
Okay, so that's your second one.
Love
Want
that
me
for an
to
auto
do it?
gnome.
Yeah, right. Oil, especially.
Yeah,
Do you
kind of
want me
makes
to
sense.
randomize the spell for you? One last thing for you to roll.
What's that?
Do you want me to randomize that first level spell for you?
Oh, that'd be
One last
great.
thing for you
Yeah,
to
if
roll.
you could, that'd be wonderful. Yeah,
Is it
thank you.
just access to all first level spells? Is it just
Yeah,
randomized from any of them?
yeah, pretty
Cool.
much. It's all completely randomized.
That's going to be create or destroy water.
Create or destroy water. Okay, the next one is 26. All right. Your next magical item is a potion of invisibility. And this is your last one, which you could give to, or if you want to give one of those to Flurbex. But your last magical item is... Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. Table H. Last magical item is... God, what is that? Oh my God. Here goes the campaign. You're getting the Horn of Valhalla. The bronze Horn of Valhalla. You can use an action to blow on this horn, and in response, 4d4 plus 4 warrior spirits from Valhalla will appear within 60 feet of you. They use the stats of a berserker, and they return to Valhalla after 1 hour or when they drop to 0 hit points. Once you use the horn, it cannot be used again for 7 days. If you blow the horn without having proficiency at all with medium armor, the summoned berserkers will attack you. If you meet the requirement, they're friendly to you and your companions.
Hey, if we ever need a distraction.
Yeah, that's a lot of summons.
Yeah.
So many. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know a dungeon master that enjoys summons because of just how much extra stuff it puts on the battlefield, and yet so many items and spells are all about, yeah, have more things to control.
Sometimes your druid summons 32 badgers.
32
Yeah,
badges.
exactly.
Yeah, like you do.
1,000 wolves.
All right. So, with those game-breaking magical items now properly distributed, we can jump back into where we left off, which was you guys had just stepped out of the portal of this strange library where you were handed these packets of magical items were all bundled up. They were apparently intended for somebody named Blackstaff, but apparently the person that had them was under orders to give them to the next person who entered the library, and those were you guys. So welcome. You now have these incredible magical items. You've stepped back into the main corridor where you had last left. Right now, you are somewhere, you really have no idea where, but somewhere underneath the streets of Sigil. Right now, it's this darkened cave. You were able to move through here mostly originally because of dark vision, but you've entered into a space now where it's lit by these dimly glowing lanterns that are on the sides of these cave walls. But the noises down here are somewhat disconcerting. You can hear all sorts of strange ambient sounds coming from the distance and the deep, including, no joke, on occasion, a scream of horror that seems to echo off the cave walls and vanish into nothing. It's a little bit like a horror house. But down here, the temperature has gotten very cool, and it has started to, you've lost that scent of death, and instead you are now getting more of the scent of being deep within the moisture of an underground cave. You came across a sign. One of them had one pointing to the right that said nowhere, and a sign pointing to the left that said everywhere else. It was bronzed, hammered onto the wall. You guys sent your brand new purple little cow back to get your other party members. So we're going to start off with
I love the lack of context for the people that weren't here.
Yeah.
It was just one of the wild surges. A cow appeared.
It was just one of the wild surges. So we start today's game off with our good friend Teak rejoining the party. Teak, at some point while you were on watch with Rain and you were having a conversation about pastries. Rain's never had pastries before.
Ooh.
So you guys were having a deep conversation about cinnamon rolls and such when a small, and I do mean small, I mean maybe about 2 foot tall, thick purple cow wandered up from the doorway and into the room and looked at all of you and just said, moo. And then turned around and started walking back towards the door and stopped and turned and looked back at you to see if you were going to follow him. And that's exactly what Rain does. Rain goes,
Looking over at Rain, Teak is like, I've never made pastries from milk from a purple cow.
Oh, you can see it too. Okay. Thank goodness.
Come with me, little friend.
I now have somebody who's as tall as I am. And Rain jumps up on your shoulder. And seeing that you're following, a small little purple cow swishes its tail and swings its head back towards the door and begins to trot back down into the caverns.
Oh yeah, Tika's definitely following behind,
Okay.
and is kind of like a may we trade? How do I ask for your milk? And he's saying this out loud.
The little bitty 2-foot cow comes to a dead stop. And then it turns and stares at you.
I said that out loud.
It turns around slowly and begins to trot again. I think
And
that
Teak
was
follows.
disapproval. Was that disapproval? It looked like disapproval.
I'm not very good at everyday emotions, but I think I disappointed our new friend.
Yeah, what's our new friend's name? Do we even know our new friend's name?
Hello, new friend.
Let's call him Thunder.
I'm sorry, do you call yourself, you said down under?
No. Let's call the cow Thunder, because I'm Rain.
Thunder. Oh.
Well, we should probably ask.
Until we know his name.
We should, yeah. All right. Eventually, the cow leads you through a corridor where you see the bones of what looks like a small regiment of skeletons have been shattered and broken across the floor. Clearly, battle has happened here. You can see scorch marks all over the ground. As you move through, you can also see what looks like the rubberized, slightly half-digested leg bone of something that Flurbeck's probably got their hands on.
Are any of the bones fresh, or is this old bones?
Old. Quite old. Yep.
I was thinking of making marrow cake, but you need fresh marrow. Okay, no.
I bet you the Night Hag would know something about that.
More than likely, yes. We must ask Mama Bones next time we're up.
You guys continue moving on, eventually weaving through these dark caverns, and it becomes incredibly dark, except for Rain kind of lights the place up, which makes it a little more welcoming for you.
Oh, well, Teak has
Dark
120
vision.
feet.
Yeah,
of
you're an
dark vision.
owlkin. If
Yeah.
anybody can see in the dark, it's you. But eventually you come upon your party, who all seem to be kind of in awe of themselves right now as they're looking at the items that these big pile of items that they're holding. Even you, Teak, as you're coming upon the party, you can see them all rather taken with the items that they have in hand. It looks like a mixture of strange, curious artifacts, but even you can feel an aura of power emanating from this tunnel as you approach. The cow comes trotting up to all of you and looks around, and then calmly moves back over to the center of the group and just stares at everybody.
Teak looks over at the party and is like, "Don't ask him for his milk or her milk. I don't know the gender that has milk for purple cows."
Noctis is just like in a staring contest with the cow.
The cow just chews on nothing as it stares back.
I found a word that's original.
It's the best day of Mimi's life. the Raven Queen.
I do
Queen
like
guidance.
toffee.
Mhm.
Well,
Mm,
should we?
I'm gonna flop over to Mimi and just like go. I have a sword. I don't use swords, but you use sharp pointy things. It's a bit bigger than your dagger, and then I'm just gonna spit my +2 short sword at your feet. Do you want to
Ew.
do a transaction, and you give me some food, and I'll give you the sword?
Would you also like a word that's original?
Yes,
dearie?
I would like
Yes,
one of those.
All right, here you go.
You give me a Withers, and I'll give you a +2 short sword. It's a good try. It's a good deal.
Sounds great.
Is Gimbal still with us, or is he?
Yeah, that's all eyes kind of turn to you, Jody. You're muted.
Yeah, the weird clicking sounds and the face turning around and the last no of Grimble, and then Celine is there and is looking around and is she's learning not to just automatically attack or do like to get the lay of the land first when she changes over. Where are we? What
Oh,
what's
hey, Celine's back. Without any explanation of where we are or what's going on, I'll just slop over and throw a holy Avenger greatsword at your feet. Just like, bam, there's nothing. Be like, hey, do you want to do a transemption? You have a sword. You want a bigger sword?
One of the most coveted holy artifacts in the arsenal of anyone who
It just
travels
kind
with
of
the gods.
it just pushes out of Flurbex's side and just dink 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 dink.
This 5.5-foot blade attached to this ornate pommeled hilt, depicting the wings of golden angels gathered together in a sort of a twisting hug that creates what could be accurately described as one of the most spectacular symbols of holy wrath ever forged by the gods. It's just casually splurted out at your feet by the plasmoid. It kind of clatters to the ground in the dust and begins to glow in front of
yeah,
you.
so her eyes can't really get bigger because they're already sort of just huge and round and fixed, but the little jaw definitely just goes as she just stares at the and she picks it up with like the reverence of a paladin who has just been given the greatest weapon with which she can smite evil. And
Is this
what
is this
what
a
would-
good sword?
this is the best sword. What can I don't think I have
Do you
anything.
have any food?
I mean, yes, I have rations that I can't
I'll
actually
take rations.
she just immediately hands over the rations that she can't eat anyway. So
There you go.
like all
Good
of them.
good deal. Flurbex is
Uh,
happy with that arrangement.
Eric,
That's the two on the
question for the party.
Yeah.
Do we need to go through any identification process for these more complicated things? Were we given instructions? Do we already know how certain things work?
In Dungeons and Dragons, you absolutely would have to do something to learn what these items are. Particularly the more powerful they are, the more mysterious I personally, as a dungeon master, like to make it to be. It adds to the mystique and the glory of you coming across spectacular treasures. In this case, though, the community raised $4,269.69, and y'all have been dumped with these magical items with 2 sessions left. So for whatever reason, when these were handed to you, perhaps it was the fact that they were handed to you in these small leather bundles and labeled and actually cataloged as they were meant to be delivered specifically to somebody who was trying to create what would appear to be some kind of arcane arsenal of mythic proportions. But now it's all in y'all's hands. So you're actually aware of what each one does. Do keep in mind that you can only attune to 3 magical items at a time. So if you equip them in your inventory list, you'll have to make sure to attune them or they will not be added to your character. So if you go to your equipment list in inventory and you equip them, there will be a small little tab that'll show you that you need to attune it. It'll open it up to the attunement section. If you have any trouble with that, let me know and I can just walk you through it real quick. And this is good for anybody else who's
Sorry, that's only if you have more than 3.
well, no, if you actually want to use the magic item itself. And that's not all of them. Some of them don't require attunement. Like your daggers, for example, don't require attunement. Unless it's an artifact of some kind, it doesn't require attunement.
Okay.
Yeah, like out of everything that I got, only one of them requires attunement. So
Yeah.
Again, nothing I have requires attunement.
Holy Avenger not require attunement? I'd be shocked. And
Nope.
also, it doesn't.
Nope.
That is horrifying.
That is horrifying.
You can just wave it around.
Yeah,
Every
it
so
does
often
say
you come across
require.
something.
It does
You
say
come across
require
something in
attunement.
D&D.
Okay,
Oh,
never
it
mind.
does.
I'm wrong.
There you go. I was
has-
like, every so often you're like, this feels wrong. This feels like an oversight.
I was like,
Yeah.
my rapier of warning requires attunement, and that all that does is go, hey, someone's nearby.
So I'm going to go ahead and click this for you, Shannon, but I've equipped your boots of striding and springing and your arm blade dagger. So those should start appearing on your character sheet. You might have to refresh, but those should start appearing on your character sheet now, or at the very least,
All
at the
right.
very least,
quick,
you'll have keep track. Yeah.
quick
what's up?
recap, Celine. Thank you so much for rejoining the party. We're in a dark cave system that we, the hole we were going to plunder. Well, now we're in said hole. And we're heading to nowhere, which was where we think the cult might be. Fascinating. And now we got a bunch of items that maybe will definitely assist us in killing said cult. And we have to bring the fingers back to the Lady of Pain for no other reason than she visited me last night. Bit spooky, to be honest.
Yeah, Celine's still staring at the sword, and you're not sure at first if she heard you, but then she looks over and nods.
Ah, thank you. Yep.
Celine, just to give you some further backstory, the warrior paladins spend lifetimes questing for the sword that you have just had dropped at your feet. This is the equivalent of coming across Excalibur or something similar. It's pretty much the most that a paladin could hope to achieve as a symbol of what they do. And to be just gifted this, it has to be the doing of the gods, right?
Obviously. I mean, it's also my second life, so
True.
this is why I'm here. She's like carrying herself now maybe a couple inches taller, so she's maybe now like 3'2".
I'm starting to think that maybe I could have got more rations for it. Is that what
Oh,
I'm
so we can give you all the rations.
hearing?
Teak is like has this huge citrine ring. He doesn't wear things like that usually. He's very, but he has that. He has that obsidian steed on one shoulder. I guess he has Rain on the other because Rain like jumped up.
Yeah, Rain is looking at the obsidian steed with some genuine concern. She looks like she is really not comfortable with the obsidian steed. She just stares at it like, that's
You
pretty.
want to come chill with me, Rain?
Yeah, that's no offense, Teak, and she just leaps off and trots over to Noctis. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that statue's evil. I can feel it hating me from within the statue.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, yeah. So Teak has that and then whips out the carpet of flying and just it's 3x5. It starts he does the command to have it start floating and he gets on top of it and just like zooms around a little bit. He's just chilling on it.
I'm picturing this. I'm picturing this very much like the Austin Powers scene of like trying to back up and reverse the the cement smoother because it's this small cave like really isn't giving you a lot of room to zoom around on it, so you're just kind of doing this
Yeah, it's just like
up and down. I mean, you're having a blast, but yeah, moving around kind of up and down, move forward
yeah.
about 2 feet, back 2 feet.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
and it can carry up to 400 pounds. When it gets flying speed of 80, carry up to 400 pounds, but flying speed becomes 40 when it's carrying over 200 pounds.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously he's not going to be able to, or can he? If he goes in front of the party, can he still stay on this carpet?
Yeah, you can stay on the carpet. The corridor is wide enough that 3 of you could walk side by side.
If anybody wants to also be on this fabulous flying device, just let me know. And he like scooches into the middle. So if someone wanted to, I mean 3 feet, well 3x5. So maybe one other person.
I
And
would happily enjoy the less strain on my knees, to be honest.
he just pats the carpet right next to him.
Somehow Mimi gets up onto that. She's incredibly dexterous
Okay.
for an old woman.
All right.
So Celine's going through her trove of trinkets, and she comes over to the potion of invisibility, and she kind of looks at it and then hands it to Noctis.
Thank you. He just like pats your little metal head. I'm gonna add that to my inventory right now.
Mimi, did anyone claim that fabulous cape?
I don't quite remember, dearie. Let me consult the scribbles on my arm. Sometimes I have to write things down.
No.
Oh, yes.
Rain says, "You did not. That is not for you." Sorry.
Can you understand the cow, Rain?
You can't?
No, it's a cow.
Oh, yes.
What's
All
its
right,
name?
you shall be our translator.
Do you have a name? The cow stares, and Rain looks back and says, I think that's a no.
Huh.
All right. I'm just gonna call it cow.
Your name's Cow, okay?
Either that
No.
or PC. Purple cow.
Which robe are we talking about? Which cape are we talking about? my
There was a
dear?
cloak. Cloak of protection.
Oh, you can have that
Right,
if
yeah,
you
that's
so
right. Yeah,
wish.
yeah.
Okay.
No one else claiming? Going once, going twice. Sold. Teak, you have a cloak of protection. I
Yes.
really could use a nap already. Should we go towards the nowhere?
I think we should call it nice purple cow because it's an NPC.
Mhm, mhm.
Too good.
Naughty
Yes.
purple cow.
Celine's going to hold up the oil of slipperiness. Do we have a few minutes that I could put this on?
Oh, of course. Yes.
I look at my rather small sack because I mostly just got bottles and things and this box of playing cards. No, many things. Well, I'll deal with that later. And then I take the stone of mastery, and I go, oh, this looks rather fascinating. And I does attunement take time, or is it just a limiting factor thing?
So attunement usually takes like a short rest, I believe, to attune yourself to it. But we've kind of gone off the rails anyway.
Okay.
You guys are going to be subjected to a wild magic surge in about now.
Well, I would like to use it right away then before whatever happens.
Okay. All right.
Do you want more bottles? Flubex found some bottles.
No, that's quite all right. This one will allow me to fly, so I will join you in the air as needed, Teak. But I shall save this for later. And a potion of animal friendship. Well, luckily all the animals around already appear to be our friends. But should it come up, anyone let me know.
As he is speaking, each of you has grown accustomed to this at this stage, but each of you begins to feel that familiar sensation of the tingling, the hair raising on the back of your necks as all of a sudden magic begins to surge around you each. Everyone becoming a little familiar. It was something that kind of got past you at first, but as you were all kind of exchanging magical items and talking about this and moving about, you all begin to feel that sensation that there's about to be another surge of magic.
Oh no.
What
Oh.
is happening?
This
Oh,
happened
Oh,
to
if
me.
we
Yes.
This happened to me upstairs. I opened my beak and only pink bubbles came out.
the longer we
Oh,
stay
that
in one
happens
area,
often.
there appears to be a buildup of wild, chaotic magic. So we should move along, but I don't know how entirely avoidable this is.
Robert, if you get a chance, could you do me a favor and send me that table of yours again?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
It's right here.
My
Um,
current theory is that either this is the curse that we're all under by stepping in that smoke after the hag situation, or the Lady of Pain really wants us to complete the mission she tried to thrust upon me, and this is punishment for not doing it soon enough.
Oh yeah. Been
Yes.
taking too long.
Yes, so we
And-
should chop. How do we move this carpet?
And Teak just speaks a word and the carpet just moves forward.
Fancy.
as the carpet lurches forward, Florbex suddenly starts to grow with a bright light in a 30-foot radius. And it's this beautiful translucent bluish green glow of Flurbix's gelatinous form, just emanating in this very beautiful light. Very glassy looking. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of you is blinded until the end of its next turn. When I say bright light, I'm not joking.
Very bright light.
It is a very bright light. Like, just explodes with light all of a sudden. Anybody who is looking at Flurbex.
Do we need to see? Like I'm glowing now. It's useful under the dark.
Flurbex, when I told people you are brighter than you let on, I did not quite mean literally.
Montes is like, can you turn that down, maybe?
I don't know how this is happening.
Well, if they didn't know we were coming, they do now. We should prepare ourselves for more fighting. I have no idea what we're about to walk into. Is everyone ready, or do we need a snack? Snacks?
I say we move along.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Teak
I
cracks
hand
his knuckles.
take a
He's
snack
ready.
anyway.
I'm going to rule in advance that any stealth check is going to automatically fail for the next 10 minutes. As long as you're within 30 feet of Flurbex. You guys move down this corridor. I'm guessing which way you're going. You're going to nowhere or you're going to everywhere else?
We're
Nowhere?
going nowhere.
You're going nowhere. All right. You swerve to the right and begin to
I'd like to
follow
go
the
nowhere fast.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how fast y'all are moving. But as you guys continue to push forward, you begin to notice that the caves here begin to take a very different look. It starts to become a little more naturally forming and a little more hostile. It starts to become less and less like a cave that you might find somewhere anywhere else in the prime material plane. It's starting to resemble something a little more, well, ancient, to put not to put a fine point on. The walls here start to take a certain glossy look that it would suggest that these things are probably being coated with some kind of liquid that may not necessarily be water. So you're all moving through here. The place looks like it has expanded and become much more natural, but you're starting also to see a little bit of crystal formations from time to time. The light reflecting off of all of them is creating a beautiful glow, but you also see things moving in the shadows retreating as soon as you guys continue to push forward. The place begins to become more dense with plant life as well. And because you have this bright light that you are avoiding looking at and staring forward, you can each see, without having to make perception checks, that there are razor vines all over the ceiling. Some of them are draping down, some of them coming out of the walls. The deeper into nowhere you start to push, you start to realize that the razor vines are starting to crawl across the floor as well. So I'm going to need dexterity saving throws from anybody who is going to try to push through this thicket of razor vines as y'all continue to advance.
I have the oil of slipperiness, so I don't know if that would counter the vines.
You won't be restrained and you won't be held back. This will not be difficult terrain with you if a fight breaks
Got
out.
it.
However, there is a ton of razor vines. So just go ahead and make me that dex save. Take a look.
Is Flurbex would know if razor vines count as non-magical vegetation.
Yeah, they're not magical. They're naturally
Yeah.
occurring.
And is
Razor
anybody
vines are the
anybody-
only indigenous life to Sigil.
is anybody around around me like pretty injured, like from that skeleton fight or anything? Does anybody look wounded? Mimi's wounded.
I got hurt a little bit.
Takes
I
healing.
will, before any of us step into the razor vines. Like Flurbex has been around swamps, he's been around vines, he's been around materials, and so he's got some swamp-like magic, and he's going to cast Wither and Bloom, which specifically says you invoke both death and life upon a 10-foot radius. And then it says blah, 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 something about damage. And then it says non-magical vegetation in that area will wither away and die. And then in addition, one creature of your choice can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice. So he looks at Mimi looking a little bit rough. He just kills all of these razor vines with Wither and Bloom, or as much as he can in a 10-foot radius anyway, sphere.
That's a necromancy spell, yes?
It is a necromancy spell, yes.
So the manifestation of this is literally Flurbex just decides to pull the life from these razor vines and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
The
Sucks
vines,
life from the razor vines, gives it to Mimi.
They start to immediately blacken and coil up onto themselves and start to crumble away. And this greenish white light begins to transfer away from all of them and flow into you, Mimi. And you feel, Mimi, of course, very familiar with necromancy, just from the nature of your entire place of existence.
The smell of death in the morning.
Mimi, you can spend and roll one of your unspent hit dice and regain that +4.
You guys will not have to, if you did not pass the dex saving throw, you're not going to be in trouble because Flurbex basically just the next few feet anyway. What is the range on that real quick?
It's the range on it is 60 feet, but the radius is 10 foot radius. So
Cool.
20 foot diameter sphere of.
Okay. In that case, the saving throws
lines.
will still stand because there is so much more than just what's in front of you. As you move past the parts where Flurbix has basically pulled the life from these razor vines, what you see is there's just more and more and more down the cave, like weeds growing out of the walls of a cave, basically.
Would this also be for, because we're flying, so I mean, unless the entire passageway is choked like a clogged artery?
The carpet's 3x5, correct?
Yes.
So you can have 2 people on that.
Yes, myself and Mimi are on it right now.
So then anybody who is not on the flying carpet's going to have to make that deck save. If you're going to push through there.
How many?
I
like,
rolled so well on my deck save.
You're like,
in like, is it too much to, like, how many 20-foot sections would it take for me to, like, if I withered and bloomed again and again and again, like, how many would it take for me to get through the
it wouldn't.
corridor?
It would take you to the problem is you're not entirely sure how long this corridor is. So you can wither and
Yeah, that's
bloom
fair.
until you run out.
Until I
And
run
if you
out of
would
spell
like,
slots.
if you'd like to try that.
I'll do it one more time for another 20-foot section.
Okay.
And is anybody still looking wounded? Noctis, you'd taken some damage.
Yeah, I'll take some.
I'll cast it one more time, and Noctis, you get to roll one of your unspent hit dice and add 4 to it.
All right.
And then after that, I'll just be like, oh, there's too many of these. We're just gonna have to squeeze through, and then I'll just squeeze from that point.
Okay.
What dice would be hit dice?
For you, it's a D8.
Is there a built-in mechanic for that on the page, Eric?
For hit dice?
Yeah. I know
It's
you can access it through short rest, but I don't know how to use it outside of that button.
Honestly, probably the fastest way to do it is just to roll it manually, and with using the small dice roll to the bottom left corner, and just do the adding yourself, and just mark off that you've spent a hit die, which you can do by clicking on your hit points. That's just how I do it, so it's not the futz with it.
Okay, so I rolled a 6, and then I can add 4, so 10.
So you recover
Sweet.
10 hit points.
Yeah, good heal. So
That's pretty much pretty much the only way that Flurbix is a healer. Like, that's one of his only healing things, even though he's the druid.
All right. So Teak, you and Mimi are just fine. The rest of you, as y'all are powering through these razor vines. Silvio, you are going to take some damage, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Let's see here. Only 2 points of damage. It's like walking through I forget not everybody's from Texas. It's like walking through, finding out there is cacti in this field, of which many a time I did as a youth when I would come home and see cuts all over my ankles. In this case, it's kind of the same thing. Whereas you're moving through a lot of the spaces here, you find yourself looking down and seeing that you got another bitty razor thin cut across your legs, just beautifully splitting the seams of some of your pant legs. Just
no, my walking corduroys. These trousers will take quite a time.
Your
to
corduroys. Let's see who else. Everybody else saved. The rest of you just managed to sort of Flurbex, thankfully, not as easy to cut you as you're just kind of glomping on top of these razor vines and moving very slowly over them. The problem, though, is you all begin to encounter as you continue to push down into this cave, it's nothing but razor vines. As you continue to push forward, you begin to realize, Flurbex, it's good that you stopped casting because you start to realize this entire place just looks like you're underneath a garden of razor vines. They're everywhere, to the point where you guys are having to slowly move past them and push them up and slip underneath them. You can feel every now and then you'll feel like one of them catch, and you have to pull your hand off of it like it was about to be cut. But pushing through.
Is this the right way?
I mean, I guess if you're an evil cult, this is a pretty good security system.
How do they
Maybe
get
they-
through, though?
Maybe they have a back door.
Yeah.
Maybe
Should we try the
someone
back door?
investigate for another way. I will do it
Okay. Roll me a
Also,
perception check while Mimi is talking.
I could throw a flaming sphere down the corridor and just keep it burning all the plants as we go. I have that ability now.
Okay, 15.
15. So, Noctis, you go ahead, relenting to your frustrations of the party. You take a couple of steps forward and move through these vines, taking side steps, slowly lifting up your feet, but moving with grace and speed that some other folks can't really match, particularly because you're dressed like you're dressed to be a cat burglar right now. You're kind of like stalking around and moving between these things pretty easily. You get about 30 feet down, and glancing down the corridor, as soon as you leave that aura of light, which should be blinking out soon, into the darkness, it just keeps going. The rock faces are ridgy here, so it doesn't look like there's any place for a secret door, but you don't immediately detect anything. You just see a very daunting, endless corridor of these bloody vines everywhere.
I don't think. I think this is it. I think this tunnel might just go on forever.
We should go back in the other direction. There was a different one, right? This one said something on the sign, and the other one said something else on a sign.
I don't know that
Yes.
it's so wise to reverse track at this point, especially since nowhere was the destination we thought we would be going to.
That
Let
was the
me
one
try-
linked there. Go for it.
Let me try scouting ahead. And Teak holds out a hand for Mimi to step off of the carpet.
All right. I mean, not just. All right. Never mind. Go.
Well,
Okay.
because Noctis went 30 feet, right?
Noctis went beyond the 30-foot range to get a good look to see if there were any secret doors and if how much further this went on. And Noctis, I believe you have dark vision as well, yes? Yeah. So as far as you could see all the way down that corridor, you could keep going if you wanted to, but it just looks like it's more and more winding cave with these razor vines.
Okay, because the carpet has 80 feet for flying speed, and I have 120 feet for dark vision. I was just gonna, because like before when we
Yeah.
were upstairs,
Mm.
and if we had stopped
Mhm.
and turned around, yeah.
You are going to have to make a deck save against the razor vines because they are dripping off of the ceiling, but you'll be at an advantage because you're not on the ground. It'll be pretty
Okay.
easy for you to sort of duck down and lay low. Rain says, I could try setting them
20,
on fire with my wings, but then we'd be in a cave filled with smoke. So maybe that's not a good idea.
26.
26. Okay, easy. All right. You just lay low and the carpet goes, you just kind of scrunch down. You fly about 120 feet or so. And Teak, when you finally reach the well beyond the edges of that bright light that Flurbex is currently blasting throughout this cave, you come upon what looks like a great opening where the razor vines thin out. And you can immediately see on the ground here with your dark vision, the place looks like it's well traveled. You see footprints all through here, and it looks like a great bulbous, like almost like an entry room, like something in here, like a junction point of some kind. You can see a couple of other cave complexes here, but it looks traveled, particularly because there is another sign that says "This way to nowhere."
Ha!
It points down one of the caves.
You gotta love it when cult members, just take the guesswork out of it for you. And Tika sits there on the carpet and like thinks really hard, pulls out some hard candy that Mimi had given him earlier and just kind of like eats it, looks
Okay.
around, and it's like, okay, I think I figured this out. Can the carpet work without Tika on it?
I don't know. I don't think it works like
Yeah,
that.
I
I
think
think
it's
it moves as part of you once you're on it.
yeah.
Yeah, if it was an intelligent carpet, that would be different, but this one's just a standard.
Yeah,
No
it's like
Aladdin.
you can make the carpet hover and fly. It moves according to your spoken directions, provided that you are within 30 feet of it.
Oh, so if you keep it within 30 feet, then you can just have it follow after you if you wanted to. So it could even work like a pack horse if you needed it to.
Yeah, because I was thinking that maybe two people on the carpet at a time. I'm flying within 30 feet of it.
somebody else flying on the nightmare. We could have a whole
So,
team of flying
yeah,
people.
flying down the corridor yourself is going to be very difficult. That's going to be because the ceiling is completely packed with these vines hanging down. So from the floor to the space that is free to fly between, you're looking at probably about 6 feet worth of height that you could get flying. So the best you could do is probably glide a couple of feet, but I would say probably not going to be able to fly down the corridor without magical assistance.
Okay. All right. So Tika is going to fly back to the party, having
Okay.
scouted that area out. And I'm sorry, you said it was 120 feet from where we were?
You flew down. Yeah, it's not that far. You guys are actually pretty close to it. So about 120 feet.
Okay. So swooping back to the party, letting them know what he saw and his idea of like someone can get on the carpet with me to go. And then before he's gonna point to a section of the wall away from everybody, let's say 60 feet away, and he's gonna cast Sacred Flame on the razor vines.
Okay.
So I mean it's a dexterity saving throw of 14.
How dexterous are the vines, Eric?
Yes, how dexterous
The
are these
vines are going
vines?
to instantly fail.
Okay.
So
So
the
that's a 2d8 of radiant damage, and that's a cantrip for me, so
Mhm.
I can cast that as many times as I want.
Okay. It is a little it's just taking like a beat reset cast beat
Yes.
reset. So you guys are being very meticulous as you're moving throughout this. I need poor Silvio to make me a deck save real quick
All right.
as this is all happening. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that you guys meticulously take the time required to shuttle through this cave back and forth. So you won't have to make any deck saves for the vines. However, okay. Silvio, on your trip through the vines on the magic carpet, you're easily moving away from the vines as they dangle in front of you. A few of them touch you, but none of them cut. The moment you feel them like brushing against you, just kind of pull away. Unfortunately, you suffered a wild magic surge while this was happening.
Hooray.
And your wild magic surge is for the next minute, any flammable object you touch that isn't being worn or carried by another character bursts into flame. So as you guys are moving through the cave, all of a sudden the razor vines go and start to crackle, and you see the fire begin to spread quickly up the top of the
Nice.
cave.
Wait.
Achieved.
Worn or carried, you said.
Any flammable object you touch that isn't being worn or carried.
Does that include the carpet?
No, I'm not going to count the carpet because it's not being worn or carried, but
It's a magic item. They're usually
but yeah,
resistant
but
to
I
this sort of
eventually Marquis and I are going to hang out again, and I want to keep our friendship intact.
And the carpet is carrying people, so it's sort of like the reverse.
Anything that is being worn or is carrying.
So everybody on the carpet is fine. The razor vines, however, are not so lucky and immediately begin to burn. You guys all start to, as y'all are being shuttled back and forth, you all begin to smell it down the corridor. And you hear Rain go, "Something burning?" And then you see the orange flame flickering to life in the corridors up ahead. To quickly move this along.
I have
You
an
guys-
idea.
Oh, what's your idea?
Well, I can plane shift.
Mm-mm. Not in Sigil, you can't.
I can't, but the Lady of Pain wants us to get this task done. Maybe I could appeal to her as a quick way to get from here to there, just using like a little stopover.
You've really got him on that one. I love that.
Because I like that.
Yeah.
Normally, I would say
Lady of
that's not.
Pain.
That's
It may-
normally I would
yeah,
say is a plot
makes
point
sense.
spend, but Lady of Pain did single you out because of a fundraiser unlock.
Hmm.
Lady of Pain supports Doctors Without Borders.
She's an ally.
Knowing full well that the lady refuses all worship In fact, those who attempt to worship her or pay her deference are usually sent to the mazes to never be seen again. In this case,
Mm.
though, maybe you could reach out to her. And I'm going to leave it to chance.
Mm.
So, what would you like to do to invoke the lady's attention? You do have her mark upon your forehead.
Let me. Can I roll a persuasion check
Yes, I
and
think that
just
sounds
like
appropriate.
appeal to her?
Hmm.
I'm gonna before Mimi does this, I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration and give it to Mimi and say,
Okay.
Mimi, I trust that with your experience here in Sigil, and naturally my own skills rubbing off on you, you will say the right thing with the utmost respect to get us what we need.
Naturally.
And then I will give
Hey!
it's a 1d8 now this time, now that I've leveled up.
Okay.
Hmm. I'm gonna the same way that I talk to spirits, I'm just gonna kind of tune in to all of them and
Mhm.
sort of speak casually like she's one of my girlfriends on the weekend. I don't know what that looks like for Mimi, but just one of the casual friends that Mimi has. So, long time no see. I was wondering, I have a stupid idea, and I just wanted to see what you might think of it. Um, you know, mysterious woman to mysterious woman. I want to plane shift in and out of something safe and avoid all these stabby thorn things. Because I want to collect the fingers of those you want killed. Would you be down with that? Would that be would that
This
be
will
fun?
mark the first time in the 20 plus years I have played D&D if somebody just flat out asked Lady of Pain, "Hey, are you down for this? Is this cool?" um, make your persuasion check,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and you can throw in that bardic inspiration.
Remember, you're allowed
I
to,
rolled a nat 20.
Yes, you did. You rolled a nat 20 plus 6.
which means that you're allowed to keep the bardic inspiration for up to 10 more minutes if you don't want to use it.
Okay.
You can still use the bardic inspiration. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Of course, nat 20s mean best possible result. That doesn't necessarily mean auto success or that you succeeded.
Yeah.
But
I'm
if
gonna I'm gonna save my bardic inspiration, but can I spend my inspiration you gave me last week?
yes, so well,
Just to like
that
sprinkle
would
it
just
on?
let you roll an additional d20. So probably you're not going to roll any higher
Okay.
than you just
Then
rolled.
never mind.
Yeah.
I'll roll the bardic and I'll keep the other inspiration for when I need it.
Okay.
Just for extra protection. 7 on top.
7 on. Okay, so over 30 then.
Yeah, that would
A
be
33
a 33.
equivalent.
33.
Yes.
You down with that?
So what happens next? Everyone is able to experience this, even though Mimi is the one who is the one that had the contact with the Lady of Pain. Everyone hears what would be the equivalent of the blood rushing into your ears. It almost just sounds like a low rumble, but it might actually feel like the blood is rushing into your ears for a second. The cave itself feels like it grows slightly darker, like a low rumbling. You're almost certain it's in your head. And each of you in that moment becomes aware of a presence behind you. Um, Mimi, you feel a very familiar sensation. As you turn, expecting to see perhaps the lady, what you instead see is what I've posted here in our Planescape Discord chat. This individual appears. This creature. Now, denizens of Sigil will know this is a Debus, a servant of the Lady of Pain. Nobody messes with them. Nobody touches them. Everyone gives them wide berth. Nobody interferes with what they do. They move silently among the streets of Sigil, doing her bidding. What that bidding is, not even the gods know. Sometimes they simply patrol. Sometimes they maintain the public buildings and portals, and sometimes they deliver messages.
Oh,
to
hey, what's
the
up?
this creature is about 8 feet in height and doesn't appear to be touching the floor. It looks like their lower half of their body is just drape of that dark maroon colored cloak that dangles with looks like scorpion tails or some such that have been sewn onto the fabric underneath and just hangs down, drifting across the sandy floor. They have this elongated face and a pair of horns, one coming up to the front and the other ram like swirling around the back. Their thick white hair floats above their head as though they were underwater, and they stare at you with white eyes framed by their deep gray skin, looking utterly emotionless. This sort of slightly elongated face that innately gives them the appearance of somebody who disapproves of everything they look at. And as they appear, with their hands folded into their sleeves, they point at you. And you feel in that moment, Mimi, that you have been granted this one favor.
Well,
And that your spell, considering the power of plane shift, could actually deliver you directly to nowhere rather than just traveling down this corridor.
wonderful. I knew you were a frisky type. Try not to swear on this channel.
Narcus
I
is
love
like
that.
really disappointed because she was hoping that the lady would show up. So she's like, okay, thanks, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's not just in the Dragonlance campaign that we're skipping content, AJ, but that we're now we're now doing it in every campaign that we're in. We're just like, and skip. We'll get to the end.
So,
I'll see you later. I will hold on to the staff. Are we all ready?
I
All right.
guess.
As ready as we'll ever be.
smoke has
Let's
begun to
do this
billow into
thing.
the area where you guys are at this point, by the way.
Yes. Well, I will tap the staff 2 times in the ground like a very impatient grandma trying to tell you off. And we will plane shift
You're using the
to
staff of the Magi?
the staff of the Magi. Plane shift to wherever the Lady of Pain is allowing us to plane shift. If that is directly to nowhere, I'm so down for that.
Okay. With that, the incredible power stored within this artifact activates. As it power flows through each and one of you, there is this blinking, each one of you just blinking out of existence and reappearing at your destination as the lady grants you permission to move within her city. You all appear in nowhere. Now I'm going to go ahead and just post this picture. I'm going to hand it over to our, if anybody is interested, I can post this as a link as well. So we're about to go on our break, but I'm going to go ahead and just post. This is from D&D Beyond, so you might need permission to look at this if you have a subscription or some such, but this is essentially, I'll post the link here in our Gary Con Planescape chat, but you guys appear here. I don't know if they're going to let me post a link. I'll try it. There we go. You guys basically appear outside of nowhere, which is a city in Undersigil. You appear just beyond what looks like a great lake and this rotting fortress of a city that is built upon it. The ceiling no longer looks like rocky caves. It now looks like you are all underneath the grandest cathedral you could possibly conceive. The pillars and ceilings arced up, and you can see that disappear into the darkness like some kind of grand Gothic construction of an ancient castle that has been long forgotten by the gods. Down here, it looks like an entire city has been built at the feet of the palace of dead gods. And it looks like this rotting town of wood, wretched monsters wandering the streets. It is it the equivalent of basically an undercity here in Sigil. And the sign that greets you looks like there is a ghoul, an undead being that has been hammered up against its body parts, hammered up against a plank of wood. And as you all appear, It glances up at each of you and says, "Welcome to Undersigil. This is the city of nowhere." And then it goes back to being dead. Head drops down low. You all gaze out in front of this place that looks like definitely the home of some kind of criminal empire or the Forgotten of some kind. What would you all like to do?
Like, this is great. This is like my dream. This is where I want to live. This is
Teak
cool.
immediately starts sniffing the air for the fragrance of pastries.
You smell putrid water. You're pretty sure you smell the sense of death, scent of fire. Like
Mhm.
maybe some kind of like actually maybe something is burning, but it doesn't smell too bad, whatever it is. Uh that sort of like sinus pinching smell of mold somewhere down here. But also lots of moisture and lots of sounds too. You can hear everything from the screams of someone being murdered to the sounds of cheering in a tavern somewhere, echoing across all of the halls here.
Hmm.
Do we know where this cult is located in this place of scum and villainy?
Not at all, no.
Cody, roll save versus lawsuit. No, dumb. Just kidding.
I bet they
Any
know at the
ideas?
tavern.
Tavern's a good one.
Or whatever
other
tavern
ideas?
equivalent they have here.
Or if there's
we can
a
go for a drink, no?
bakery.
So Celine's gonna go and tap the foot of the dead ghoul. Do you know where the cult is? Do you have directions to the cult? We're looking to join a cult.
If you're gonna stop somebody, I'm gonna.
Well, no, it's the ghoul that's hammered to the sign.
Oh, the ghoul. Okay, the ghoul's head twitches a little bit as you talk to it, and it glances up at you. Finally, opens its
unscribed.
eyes. The eyes are milked over white and look like they've been preserved by magic, long since partially rotted away. And the ghoul looks at you and says, "Speak into my good ear."
Stand on her little tippy toes, which still. We're looking to join the cult. Do you know where they are? Do you have directions?
It turns its head to hear you as this black maggot falls out and splats onto the ground and says, "Cult? Which
Let me tease it.
cult? So many cults here."
I interrupt and say, where might we find information on the unscribed?
Stares at you blankly for a moment and says, "Can't help you with that, I'm afraid."
Can't or won't?
Don't get around much, I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
What if you could get around?
It looks like he doesn't know how to respond. He says, "Won't happen."
Even
Pretty
if we
sure it's dead.
unmute you from this post?
Can't be removed from the post.
Hmm.
Now, Noctis, in my younger days, I've enjoyed taking a funny street sign and putting it in my dorm room when I was still at the academy. But I don't know that those same kind of things apply to the wayfinding here in the Undersigil.
It's worth a shot.
It's a very good idea. All right, plan F. What are we doing? Do we just make some ruckus and just yell out the unscribed to make them find us?
If we start saying their names, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you don't say our name," and then they'll come and find us.
I think a public house is the best course of option here. We'll find someone who can, no offense to, I say no offense over to the ghoul, but might be able to get around. And in any case, I could use a drink.
Yes, let's us to the tavern.
What
sure they'll-
advice for each of you? Don't die in Undersigil. There are things that down here that will find a use for you before you find your rest.
Clearly. I look
You
him up
could
and
put on
down.
a sign.
I ask him one more question: Is there anything you need, my friend?
My pipe.
Do you have it on you, or
Does it look like I have it on me?
where might we find you the pipe? Or does any pipe? Will any pipe do?
I miss my pipe. If you find it, bring it to me, please. Put it in my mouth. Let me have one more smoke from it, please.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
I'll add it to the list. Find a pipe.
We're going on
Find
a
the pipe. The definite
Side quest.
article seems important here.
I mean,
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
You
it
get a
seems
little-
he's very
get a little
attached to
note on
that
screen.
one. But Teak looks down at his pouch where he has like tobacco, looks
Mhm.
over at the sign, is like, eh, and then tucks it back in.
You're like, smoking's bad for you. You tuck it back away. All right. With that, as you begin to enter into what apparently under Sigil, this place called Nowhere, each of you make me a perception check. Yeah. You're muted.
That's a nat 20 for Celine.
Nat 20 for Celine.
Yeah. Teak's still looking for a bakery. He got
With
a 9.
with eyes as large as yours, Teak, you somehow still are just a little distracted. The rest of you, though, each of you begins to start to notice a strange aura around the other. You look upon one another at that particular moment, and you begin to see this ephemeral, almost like dry ice layer of smoke kind of drifting off of each of you that you hadn't noticed before. Maybe it's because it's catching the light here, but you also notice that there are these wisps of smoke or like fog or some such that looks oddly familiar to you. As it's drifting away from you, you can see these small puffs of this fog all throughout the area here in Nowhere, like little bitty puffballs of visible fog that manifest. You might be seeing them through walls. You might be looking through. Yes, as you glance around, you notice that these little puffballs of mist, you're seeing them. At first, you thought they were drifting in front of you, like they were overlaid, they were in the foreground, but you begin to realize you're actually gazing through buildings and establishments and walls and stones and seeing them on the other side. Like you're capable of seeing them in their hiding places. And you are seeing a very large concentration of them somewhere far off in the city. And it
Is everybody
feels
seeing
familiar.
this, or is this just another wild magic?
No,
But
I
seeing
think
what?
this is.
I see this too.
Okay.
I think this is the mist.
This is the one that we're looking for in the vials, yeah? The one that the hags were running away from.
The one that we
Yes, dearie.
broke.
Anybody who draws the attention of the other two who failed their initial perception checks will start to notice it now. So as you're drawn away from hearing them what they're talking about, you glance around, and as you focus, you begin to see it. It's not only in the background through these buildings, but you're also seeing it licking off of your own body, like it's drifting away, like you've pulled your hand out of a frozen lake into a different temperatured air, and it's just kind of drifting away from you.
DM,
Mhm.
the small puffballs, as you described them, the up ahead, they're in sort of more of a concentrated area.
Mm-hmm.
Does Mimi recognize or sort of associate this with like the way she sees dead people? Like that these are beings in any way?
That's an excellent question. I might say, let me check something, because that is an excellent question. Let's see. There is a connection. So I'm going to have you roll either. I'll let you roll either religion or arcana.
Both of those are -1.
Well, you get advantage. So there's going to be some
Hell
goodness for
yeah.
that.
I'll just do religion.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage. Let me just roll
Nope,
it
roll one more
again.
time.
Never mind. 14.
Yeah, the first roll is much better. So, Mimi, you can't quite put your finger on it, but there is something connected, something familiar about this fog, this strange wispy mist that has been plaguing you guys since the encounter in the alleyway. And it doesn't feel like it's connected to undeath or anything like that, but it does feel adjacent. Like it has some connection. Perhaps it shares a proximity to the negative material plane. It's hard to say, but there is something about it that does strike you as somewhat familiar.
Okay, then in that case, I'm gonna try and appeal to one of the wisps and just like walk towards it. Hello, dearie, come here.
Um,
Gucci cool.
as you do this, Mimi, you start to reaching out and calling out to it. It's almost like your acknowledgement of this strange puffball of mist gives you the sense of how far away or what condition it's in. Like coming up from focusing on it's giving you a better sense of what it is you're looking at. So when you call out to it and whisper to it, it actually helps you focus a little bit more as your intentions are directed towards it. The mist that's wafting off of you and drifting lazily into the air, more than anybody else, Mimi, you start to realize that these are places where this mist seems to be coalescing into a single space, and you're capable of seeing it beyond, like, if it's behind a house, think of it like second sight. If you were to hold down the L trigger and you could see like an overlay second sight style, you can see little checkpoints of markers where this fog has gathered and coalesced. So as you call out to him, Mimi, you begin to realize it's not necessarily a living thing. It looks like this mist that's drifting off of you. You begin to realize those are just places where it seems to be gathering, like it's concentrated.
Ooh. All right. All right, team. It's not that these are living, but they're sort of like pinpoints. Maybe great magic or spillage has happened the same way it's sort of hugging to us. I think we should head towards the concentrated area. If a cult that's releasing this is anywhere, it would be where it is most, I would assume.
With a nat 20, can Celine sort of figure out a good path for them to take?
Yes, easy. Marching into the other thing too is you are emitting. You're an autognome that's carrying a holy avenger on their back, a blade that is easily about a foot and a half taller than you. Everyone kind of moves aside. There's a couple of fiends that see you. You actually see, as you're all moving through the streets, you crossing this rickety bridge, and as you do, every one of you sees the bulbous bellied form of a pit fiend on the side of the street. Looks like it's ripping into a piece of meat and enjoying a nice quiet moment to itself. To give you an idea, pit fiends are some of the most powerful generals of the nine hells. It is a demon that stands roughly 12 feet at the shoulder. It is bulging with muscles. It has a great belly, and it has what you're pretty sure is not animal skin that is currently draped across its chest that has sewn up as trophies of some such, probably victories during the Blood Wars. It has all kinds of horrible weapons, and even being near it, you can feel the heat of hellfire. However, as it sees the little autognome waddling by with a holy avenger, the pit fiend stops biting into the piece of meat and looks down at you with a curious look on its face and takes a single step back to give room as you guys walk past and gives you kind of an amused as each of you moves past. To give you an example, you guys, for those of us who are new to D&D, to give you an idea, You are a level 5 party now, so typically a DM would throw you up against creatures of a certain challenge rating, right? Uh, Pit Fiends are CR challenge rating 17. These are incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful boss fights. And this one makes way for the Autonome. Just kind of steps back and just stares at you with curiosity and amusement.
She's now standing like 3'3".
Your metal shoulders just flex back. You're like, hell yeah. The demon looks completely amused and then just goes about his business, walking past you, giving you an idea of some of the denizens that have found their ways down here. Not unusual to see somebody like this in Sigil, but down here in Under Sigil, where people are tend to be forgotten about, it's a curious sight to see some of the bigger players moving about. And each of you push deeper into the city, headed towards the concentrated place of where Mimi spots all this fog coalescing. We're going to pause right there for our 10-minute break. And when we get back, we're going to see what this concentration is and what's waiting for you. Be back in 10 minutes.
Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a Dungeons & Dragons strategy video game that brings together D&D characters from the novels, adventures, and multiple live streams all into a single grand adventure. It is a deeply strategic game, and now Chris Dupuy is going to tell you how to play it.
Familiars are auto-clickers. They will help you progress when you're not in the game or not actively playing the game. Familiars will click and damage enemies for you. They'll level up your champions. They'll trigger your ultimates, help you collect gold quicker. And they can even help you click distractions. They're basically meant to give you more time to learn about the game and just play around with stuff. They basically give you some freedom without worrying about the enemies getting up to you, because the familiar's got it. So the wall of idle champions is when your formation, however you set it up and however you've optimized it, can't progress any further. The enemy's health is going to increase exponentially, and your champion's damage is at some point, no matter what, no matter how good you are, no matter how leveled up your champions are, at some point the enemy's health is going to outpace your champion's damage, and at that point you've hit your wall. So when you hit your wall, if you're close to your goal, there's a bunch of items that you can use. There's potions and stuff that can help you push just a little bit further. But normally, that means that the adventure is done for right now. So what you can do is you can reset the adventure, and all the gold that you've collected will be transferred into Divine Favor. Divine Favor then increases the rate at which you collect gold on the next adventure. So even if you weren't able to reach your goal during one adventure, resetting it will allow you to get further each time. And so resetting is one of the core elements of the game, in that it allows you to basically like bank all that progress you've made, put it into Divine Favor, and push further every time. So when you restart, all of your equipment, all of the characters that you have, that all stays, but everyone restarts at level 1, and you gain gold quicker, so you're going to be able to level them up quicker and progress further on your next adventure. And then that just keeps spilling into the next adventure to the next adventure. Every month we have a limited time event in the game. It lasts about 12 days, and that's your opportunity to collect and gear up event champions through play. So we're in year 3 of events, so we have 3 different champions, the year 1, the year 2, and the year 3 champion. The year 3 champion being the newest one. When you enter into an event and you play in an adventure during an event, you can not only unlock the champion, you can collect chests for them so that you can gear them up during the event for free. Events are your best way to level up and gear up champions, but if you miss the event, if you join the game now and you missed all the past champions, time gates are your way to collect and gear up those champions through play. So every 3 weeks, whenever there's not a limited time event going, the natural time gate will open. You'll be able to open up the time gates and choose from a selection of champions, and you'll be able to run through their event story and collect up to 2 gold chests for them. And you can do that as often as you have the time gate pieces for it. So if you've been playing for a while and you got a bunch of time gate pieces banked, you can open up a time gate and just gear up any event champions you have access to. The weekends in Idle Champions give you a different play experience. Every Friday at noon and through Monday at noon, we buff 5 different champions. And so if those champions are part of your normal formation, your formation is going to be powered up for the weekend. So it'll allow you to push a little bit further and maybe hit that goal that you've been unable to get to. So pay attention to the newsletters, because it will list the champions that are available. And during the weekend, if you add them to your formation, you'll gain the buffs from those champions. And then if you want to gear them up, we have chests with gear just for those 5 champions. Patrons are really high-level characters in the Forgotten Realms that will allow you to replay variants, but the wrinkle is they add a new level of challenge to those variants in that they only work with certain champions. So Vajra Safar, the Blackstaff, will only work with champions with a high constitution score, for example. But it'll allow you to go through and replay variants to collect patron currency and patron influence, which you can then use to buy unique items, including feats, and also power up your champions in both the patron variants and also in every adventure that you run. Feats are champion-specific buffs that give you a level of customization for your characters. You can unlock feats by opening up gold chests, you can get them through weekend promos, you can purchase feats with gems, and they allow you to customize the character based on how you want to play them. So if this character is going to be a tank, you can increase their overwhelm level. If they're working for support in the formation, you can increase the global DPS. So you can really customize the character the way you want to play with them. So we give away codes through a variety of methods, like through the live stream, through our partner streams, or through our weekly newsletter. Once you have a code, go into the in-game store and click on Unlock a Locked Chest, and that'll bring you up to the Cryptex where you can put in the code and it'll unlock whatever the code unlocks. So we have a really great community on Discord. Our Discord is at discord.gg/idlechampions. We've got channels for spoilers, we've got channels for fan art, channels for discussions about the game, and the community members are just so gracious and accommodating with new players, and they really help players get a grasp on the game and learn how to gain a level of mastery.
Hello, I'm Benwin Bronzebottom, celebrity dwarf and video game enthusiast, and this is my sidekick, Crowy.
Hello.
Quiet, you. I'm here to tell everyone about Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. It's a Dungeons & Dragons-based strategy game from Codename Entertainment.
It's a management game with an emphasis on formation strategy, where you assemble parties of legendary heroes and send them on adventures through the Forgotten Realms.
Heroes? Crowy, don't you mean champions?
Players unlock legendary champions of the Forgotten Realms, like Dritz Duerden and the Companions of the Hall, Farida and Havilar from the Brimstone Angels saga, and many more. Assemble the best adventuring party possible based on your formation options, champion abilities, and the obstacles and enemies you face.
Or just smash your mouse button repeatedly like I do and hope for the best.
Each champion has an incredible array of skills and items to let you customize your style and play even further.
Farther. Farther means more distant. Further is figurative.
Well, I meant more distant, but figuratively.
That's further.
Well, customize your style even further, because Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is available on all your favorite gaming platforms. Steam for PC and Mac, web, Epic Game Store, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, iOS tablets, and Android devices.
Well, let me know when it comes to the BlackBerry. I'm not giving up that phone. It's the only keyboard I can use.
I hear it's coming to the smart fridge next spring.
Welcome back to the most chaotic Planescape game I've ever run. I'm Eric. We're jumping back into where we last left off with all of you in Undersigil, starting to push into this criminal underground here in Planescape and looking for the source of these strange coalesced puffballs of mist. As you were all moving deeper into nowhere, the buildings here, the materials that things are made out of, you can clearly see look like they are the refuse of the city. They have been discarded, they've been hammered together, they've been cobbled together, but some of them look quite old. You can see symbols and statues and icons that do not look familiar to you at all. Indeed, it looks like this place is kind of its own little society, a little detached from what you see above on the streets of Sigil. Moving through some of the alleyways, you start to get the impression that none of you are really safe here because you're looking at what looks like pretty much the element of Sigil, even in the Hive Ward. This is probably the place where people go who are trying to avoid notice, who have led the faction wars above, who maybe are wanted. This is definitely worse than the Hyde Ward. And around here, you can see creatures from all across the planes of existence have made a home here somehow. A few times you'll come across what look like everyday folk that are just trying to keep their heads down. But here in Sigil, nothing is what it seems. As far as you know, the little halfling that looks like they are poorly clothed and dumping out a bucket of water into the street before giving you the stink eye and moving back into their house, They could be a demigod or a mind flayer. You have no idea. Best to keep to yourselves as you continue to shuffle along. Begin to get closer and closer to this puffball of coalesced fog. And as you do, you start nearing a building that it looks like it's in. Of course, this building looks like it borders the lake, like it sits upon the lake, almost like it was like a boathouse or something. The water is lapping up against the rotted wood of this great structure that looks like it's on the verge of collapsing. Each of you at this point is now clearly able to see this fog coalescing inside. And each of you feels a strange familiarity with it. You can see it clearly, but also there's something about it that feels, for lack of a better way of describing it, like it's a part of you. No one is standing outside, but you can hear a commotion going on inside. Go ahead and make me perception checks just to see what it is that you perceive out here, not too far from what's happening. Silvio, it's just not your day. You're not paying attention to a damn thing. You do not
I'm
care
trying to
what's
find this
happening.
pipe.
I'm still focused on the path, I guess, and see nothing else.
Look at the
Yeah.
disparity in these rolls. 22, 3, 6, 8, 27, 5.
Teek's tummy rumbles a bit, and he's like, I haven't had a cupcake in hours.
The rest of you, maybe it's the fog that's drawing your attention away, but Flurbix and Noctis, the stench of death has returned. And you can definitely pick up what smells like rot and decay. You can also hear some noises on the inside, talking. Someone is speaking, and you hear grunts. It sounds like someone is with a commanding voice is demanding something.
Do I
And then
recognize the language?
You might. What languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Elvish, Infernal, and Thieves' Cant.
Doesn't sound like anything you're familiar with.
I also speak Primordial and Celestial.
Doesn't sound familiar to you either.
Cool.
I haven't been paying attention, so it doesn't matter what.
You speak pastry.
What are all of the entry points?
So it does in fact look like some kind of storage, maybe like a warehouse of some kind. Crudely constructed, wood hammered together, lots of rot. But there are what look like very sketchy looking stairs leading up the side of the building to the second floor. They look like they haven't been used in quite a while, and the railing has rotted off one side of them. The building itself looks like it's probably about 3 stories tall. And it does look like it's defying logic the way it is still erected right now. It looks like maybe, but that's the architecture you've seen here so far kind of defies logic a little bit. So it's hard to say if this is actually going to fall apart if you walk upon it or if it just is going to hold together no matter what. You do see that staircase. There is a front door, but they look like 2 large barn doors. And from where you are right now, you can't see what's on the other side or behind.
I'm going to try to scale the stairs and see if I can get in on the upper level.
Okay. I'm going to say, and I'm so happy I finally get to call for this. Make me, if you would please, an acrobatics check.
Okay. Mm. 18.
18. So Noctis, you begin to edge up the stairs, the wooden planks underneath you. Everything about your knowledge as a skilled thief tells you this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. You would never want to have to use one of these kinds of entry points when it looks so unstable. But you managed to stay near the edges, not putting your weight on the dead center, and test every step as you're making your way up. And all of you are getting a good look at Noctis's proficiency as somebody who is used to breaking into places because she moves pretty quickly and agilely up these stairs. As you do, one of the things you start to realize, Noctis, is these wooden planks that you're stepping on don't creak. They don't groan or complain as you step upon them. They seem like they're holding together. You don't know how, because you don't see any show of nails or anything that's brought them together, but you trust your feet. You manage to move up to the second landing, move right across where the boards have crumbled, and you get the sense that you can manage this. If you want, you could probably make it to the second floor without any difficulties. So moving up to the top, when you reach the second floor, you see it looks like it is attached to a... This is probably used as both a window and a viewport of some kind. You're not sure what the purpose of the door itself is, but it's being held slightly open. It's one of these doors that swing horizontally and or rather vertically, and it just kind of pulls like this. It has a little plank of wood that's keeping it slightly open, and you can clearly hear the sounds of something going on inside. Moving up, it's easy enough. You don't have to make a stealth check just yet, but as you glance inside, all of you all watching as Noctis is just taking a peek inside, you look inside just in time to see somebody or something making its exit out the other side of this large single room. It does indeed look like it is some kind of storage place of maybe smuggled goods and whatnot. You can see crates and whatnot with blankets tossed over them. But what really draws your eye is the cloud giant that is in the center of the room. There is a woman that must be, if she stands upright, close to 15 feet in height. Thick muscles, and she is draped in what looks like a deep blue and black robe with pouches all around her. Beautiful white hair that is spilled out all over the ground and blood that is pouring from the side of her face. She's on the ground right now, and it looks like she's shackled. These huge, thick chains that have wrapped around her, and she's muttering something. But the next thing that gets your attention is laying up against her shin is a very familiar looking imp. Nurbib is currently laying against the cloud giant and is also shackled and chained up. And it looks like he has been roughed up badly. You can see cuts and blood, the black demon blood dripping out of the side of his mouth. His ear looks like it's been partially cut off. He looks like he has been brutalized, and he is currently laying up against her leg, just kind of muttering something. He's still dressed in his fine clothes, but his clothes are also carrying the blackened blood of the side of his face. There is, you think you see somebody moving down there in front of them, but the two of them laying there looking like prisoners that have been, that have probably undergone some kind of interrogation.
But does he have a cigar?
He does not have a cigar. It's entirely possible that his muttering is all about not having a cigar.
Okay, Noctis is gonna kind of like look back down at everybody like still below and kind of like with her eyes ask if they don't mind if she kind of goes in and like explores, because I do have that potion of invisibility that Flurbex gave me.
Or Celine, yes, Celine will do the miming, like drink the potion.
Yeah.
As you
So
are
everybody else is cool with it.
okay.
I think I'll look to Teak to be like, do you want to go with?
We shouldn't go alone. And then Teak is going to try to stealth.
Okay.
One sec.
We should establish a signal for if you need us to come rushing in.
Teak holds up the sending stone that he still has.
Does it work?
It should. It's been a day, right? We took a long rest.
Oh, we
Hasn't it
did
been a
take a long
day?
rest.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yep.
Yeah. And Teak didn't learn how to use it, but he's ready to use it.
Funny, you should ask that in chat, because Mimi, as you're all making your plans, okay, this is what we're going to do. Mimi suddenly just goes, and now, beautiful, multicolored flower petals and butterflies explode in a circle around you and begin to drift in a small, gentle fog around you. Just flying in circles. And Rain immediately goes, my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and starts like galloping and jumping and making a little bit of a noise as Rain begins to like hop up and down and chase after the butterflies as they're flying around you with these beautiful multicolored petals. You all feel a
Never-
surge of magic.
I love how perfect it is that Noctis is the one that gets the pink bubbles. Noctis is the one that gets the beautiful butterflies. And she's like, I'm an edgelord.
Oh,
I'm
did I say
edgy.
No,
Noctis?
Mimi got the bubbles.
It's Mimi.
Oh, was it
yeah.
Mimi? Sorry. I
Mimi
heard
this
But
time.
also Mimi isn't that type either.
That's funny.
And
Yeah.
I've never wanted to kick a cat.
A
But Rain
catacorn.
right now.
Yep.
Uh,
All right. So go ahead and do me a favor, if you would, while this is happening. Silvio, roll me a stealth check.
Silvio to roll. a stealth check.
I'm sorry, not Silvio. Teak.
Yes.
Make me a stealth check.
I haven't been rolling awesomely. Oh, never mind. Yeah, take it back.
Mhm.
We are fine.
Okay. So are you headed up to where Noctis is right now?
Is there another opening that Teak can go to? It would probably be good to because I mean Potion of Invisibility is going to be anything that Teak does. So I don't want to give her away. If there's another opening, like either on the roof or stealthing in through another area, just so that there's at least two of us.
If you want to try to find another point of entry, you're going to have to move around the building to look for one. Right now, all you see is this one on the second floor, and you know that there's two large doors in the front, which would be pretty impossible to sneak into unless you had the potion of invisibility going and you were very quiet.
You know what? Tika, go ahead and he's not a deep thinker, so
Fair.
he'll go where Noctis is and go in through that with the 21.
I'm going to guess you fly up there.
I've been on the carpet this entire time.
True, you could just carpet up there. Okay.
Yeah, carpet up there and then get on the roof because there's no way he's got the dexterity that Noctis has, and then do the carpet like a belt.
Okay.
They're just like wrap it around or put it in a little
And just
pack.
kind of roll it up. All right.
Yeah, roll it
you-
and put it in the pack. He
you
doesn't have a rock to put it underneath to keep it safe, so he has to carry it with him.
When you arrive, Teak, glancing in, you basically see the same scene that as I've mapped out to Noctis. You see Nurbib is down there with a cloud giantess. You're not entirely sure what the situation is or where the giantess comes into play, but they're both looking really, really messed up right now. And they are both shackled.
So, I'm guessing it's one or two plans. We kill them all, except for those two. Or, and then Teak just sits there for a second. Do you think there's a bakery nearby? All right, let's go in.
Noctis is like taken aback, but she's like, probably.
I mean,
We'll go after if this all works out. So I'm gonna take the potion of invisibility
gulp.
and yeah, just kind of wiggle my way in there and get like the lay of the land.
As soon as you turn invisible, each of you becomes aware that she turns invisible, but each of you can still perceive the ghostly outline of that fog drifting off her body. You can still see her, the outline of her, but she herself is invisible. However, no one else seems to be able to perceive. As you move in, you are going to make a stealth check with advantage. And this is going to be against passive perception of whoever is inside. This is what you do. +9, good lord. 26. You are quiet as the nightfall. As soon as you step inside, make me an acrobatics check. Okay.
9.
So the next stealth check, you're going to lose advantage. As soon as it's just for the next stealth check you make, because as soon as you step into the room, you step on the platform that's in front of you. And as you put your feet down, testing it, you move in, testing the weight. And all of a sudden, at the last minute, Noctis, you realize you've made a mistake. It's a barrel, it's on its side, and it looks like it was on a plank. You mistook it for solid ground. And as you step on it, it goes and rolls a little bit. You freeze in place, catching your breath. and you can hear movement down below and wait. Nothing happens. You think you got away with it. You
Okay,
can,
I'm gonna very gingerly step off the barrel.
okay. You put your foot down on the next level, testing to make sure that it's not something that's going to roll out from underneath you. It seems trustworthy. When you bring your second foot down, you test the weight again. You think you're okay. You're now on what seems to be some kind of platform. You're about 15 feet above the scene down below. And there is another staircase that looks like it leads down. This one looks like it's in slightly better shape than the one on the outside. You don't immediately notice anybody else in here except for the two chained individuals, but you did hear somebody moving when you moved.
I'm
So-
gonna like glance over to Teak just to make sure that he got in okay.
He seems to be able to see you because as you turn back, you see Teak acknowledge you.
Yeah, he holds up a hand like, eh?
All right.
And he's like, I can see you. Just me.
I'm gonna be like, go, let's go.
Oh, okay, then Tika takes point to go lead down.
Yeah, I'm gonna quietly go down the stairs.
All right. As you move down the stairs, Teak, we're going to have you roll, and then we're going to get to what everybody else is doing. But first of all, Noctis, as you're moving slowly down the stairs, you are now getting a better shot of the scene here. It looks like the giantess is conscious, but her eyes are closed, and you can hear her deep voice as she's groaning a little bit. And Nurbib, too, is conscious, but he's just kind of swaying back and forth like he's been knocked around a lot. There are, without a doubt, hundreds of those vials in this place. You see, as you're making your way down the stairs, a wall of chests that your eyes are able to perceive the interior. That coalescing that Mimi was seeing, you see it now clear as day. Hundreds of these vials of this strange mixture that has been contained in each one of these chests stacked on top of each other. If you had to count them, you would say there's probably about 12 to maybe about 15 chests in here, each of them containing what you have to imagine would be hundreds of these things. And Noctis, you're moving down. I'm going to have Teak go ahead and make your stealth check.
Stealth check.
Mhm.
Oof. Eh.
Teak, you basically start to mimic what you saw Noctis doing. I mean, Noctis is the sneaky one here, so you're like, if I mimic her, I should be fine. And as Teak steps his clawed foot down onto the barrel and get yourself some nice footing, it rolls a little bit. You are also invisible, is that right?
Nope.
No.
I'm
Okay.
invisible.
No one heard that. You move the second foot in and just kind of step down. You're like, you're fine. You'd have been pelted with arrows by now if something bad was going to happen. And you move into the place and kind of settle down, feeling like, yeah, secret agent Teak, you're good. You're good. You feel good about this. You are able to suddenly perceive the vials as well. Stacks and stacks of crates that look like they contain chests. And inside are the strange little crystal vials that you all came across. Puffs of this weird, misty energy coalescing inside of each crate. And for some reason, it just feels familiar to you. Meanwhile, outside, what are you all doing? It's been a few moments. They've disappeared inside the top floor window. What would you all like to do?
Well, Celine's noticed that Flurbix has seemed a little down since he gave her the sword, and she's starting to think maybe he realized that it wasn't a fair trade. So she's gonna take the horn that she got and pass that over to Flurbix.
I love this. I love that Celine thinks that that's the reason Flurbex is down, and actually it's because ever since they passed the Pit Fiend, Flurbex has been wondering where he can get some meat. The Pit Fiend was eating meat, and he's like, "Oh, where do I find meat down here?"
Oh no!
but he'll take the horn anyway. What does Is this a transaction? What do you want in return?
I think our last transaction was a little uneven, so I think this makes us a little more even because I got a very wonderful magical thing, and you should get one too.
Oh, is this is so Russians and this? But you only get one thing. Have some of, and I'll give you a dissolving ankle bone from the skeletons that we fought before.
To look at it and then stick it in a pouch.
You're like, I'm sure that could be a spell component or something. Slide it into a pouch. Let that could be Grimble's problem. We'll just leave that for Grimble. He can deal with it.
He probably
find a dissolving
probably
bone.
collects them because he's evil.
Yeah, he's evil. This is what evil people like, right? Bones? Yeah, we'll just take that.
Gooey bones. Yeah.
Okay.
If only we had something to entertain us while we waited.
I could
Oh,
play this horn.
you had a deck of cards, Silvio. What was?
Should we play cards while we wait?
I take a look at the deck. Describe how the deck looks from the outside, Eric. I just want to look at
Here we
it.
go.
Sure.
This is what every dungeon master wants with only 40 minutes left of a session.
Hey, listen. I gave up on a solid, full, complete story arc the moment we hit about episode 4, and I was like, this game's gonna do whatever the hell. I'm just gonna go along with it. Gax Pack, this is not. So it looks like a beautiful, worn tarot deck. The cards are slightly elongated, so they have that beautiful elongated tarot deck sort of styled format where the cards are longer than they are wider. The images on the back of them seem to depict this beautiful image of the cosmos. Some of them dark purple nebula coalescing into a brilliant, beautiful blue night sky in the very center. And on occasion, you'll see a couple of symbols. But the other things apart about it that just looks kind of worn, like the edges have been frayed, like the cards have been drawn many a time. And this is quite an old deck. It's beautiful. Makes you genuinely curious what the card faces look like.
This looks rather lovely, but
Yes.
it was in a pile of quite a few other things. Something tells me these aren't just normal playing cards. Besides, it's just because the system says there's 2 variants. Is this like the 22 card variant or less than that?
The well, the
rules say there's like a 13 and then a 22.
The best way to find out is by counting the cards. Because right now, all you know is that this is all you know is that this is just a card deck.
You never know until you look at it, Silvio. It could
The best way to do it is to say, I'm going to draw 14 cards and then just go.
I open the thing and without saying anything, I just see if I can take out the whole thing just from the deck entirely.
Make me a deck save. Anybody who's pulled a stack of cards out from a deck box will notice that on occasion you only get a few cards at once.
Mm-hmm.
My first nat 20
Your first nat 20 of the game might have been the most important role of the entire campaign for you, and you don't even know it. You reach inside and pull out these beautiful cards. And sure enough, what's curious about them to you, Silvio, is as you draw them out and touch them, it feels like the surface of the cards themselves are made of velvet. It has texture to it. And as you run your fingers along it, it's nice and silk smooth. The craftsmanship is incredible. These are beautiful playing cards.
The DM just wants you to pull one.
And I can fan them and look through them without... Well, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to carefully kind of fan them apart to look at them.
Okay. As you fan them, your thumb pushing the first card to the side, as you do this, the deck seems to resist as you try to split the cards and try to look at all of the art. And as you flip it over to the other side, you notice the card on the bottom is in fact facing inwards. You don't see the face. It looks like the top and bottom card are on top, so you cannot see the face of the card at the bottom. Not a standard playing deck.
That'll just be the advertisement card that comes with them all. You can throw that one away.
Or the instructions
or-
for whatever
yeah.
game it is.
Or a Joker.
Oh no. Okay.
So
No, we
Celine
should
is
look into the
watching.
we should see where they are.
Celine's watching all this with disapproval because you know her stance on gambling.
Eric, can I roll something to know whether I know how ignorant am I of at this point or not? Clearly, you're giving me in game clues, but I need to decide which way how much Sylvia
you
knows.
are totally playing with fire, and we are waiting to see like how much closer to the edge you're going to dance. If you would like to make an Arcana check, you can. But for all intents and purposes, the deck looks like a deck of beautiful cards. So if you'd like to do the Arcana check,
I did.
That's a beautiful deck of cards, and it seems totally normal to you.
Right. I go, well, the thing I was going to notice is going to be different than magical awareness. I'll be like, well, this is not the standard deck, clearly, because there's only a few cards. So I think we'd have to learn a few more rules before we play this particular one. I'm used to the classic 50 plus, and then I just slide it back in.
Slides right back in.
Fine. Let's go see where they are. It's taking a little too long, and I don't like to leave anyone behind.
You're muted, Jody.
How close are we to the sort of big barn doors?
Y'all are probably about 80 feet away, just far enough away that you can sort of have a conversation without worrying about being heard.
Celine wants to sneak up and see if she can like see or hear anything through like the crack of the doors.
Okay.
Because she's tiny, so I can roll stealth if that would be.
Make a stealth check. And because we have been idle, I have to roll a wild magic surge. 12. Excellent. Oh, this is going so good for everybody. All right. 1 second. Oh no, what is that one? Oh no. Ah. Excellent. Okay, cool. Noted. All right. Celine, you begin to creep up to the barn door. Is that correct?
Yes.
The oil of slipperiness is making this, you're having to get used to your own movements because it's not functioning like an actual slippery oil. You have alacrity now. All of a sudden, you're noticing that you're moving with an extraordinary amount of ease. And as you walk over, it almost feels like you're lighter, quicker, easier to zip in and zip out. You almost feel like you could be as acrobatic as Noctis, but it's also causing a little bit of trouble kind of getting used to your own limbs. And every now and then your metal foot scrapes against the other metal foot as you have to like readjust yourself. You're making a little bit of noise as you get over to that front barn door. Nothing comes bursting out at you, but you approach the front barn door. So you approach the front barn door. What would you like to do once you get there? Do you have any plans, or is anybody else doing anything?
Well, I wanted to see if there's a crack enough that I could either peer in, or if not, if I could put a little metal ear up.
You can see light coming through the boards, but not enough to actually gaze in to see anything else.
Okay, then I want to kind of put a little ear up to see if I can. Yeah.
You hear somebody moving around inside. But you're not sure what else. You don't hear any other conversation. Every now and then you hear like this low, deep groan.
Celine will look back at the others and shrug.
How long have Teak and Noctis been away from us now?
Probably coming up on 5 minutes.
Perhaps it's time to send them a message.
Yes. All right. I get
I
out the
can-
sending stone.
I can go and find where they are.
We could also do that.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna cast invisibility on Flowbex.
Okay. Utter a couple of arcane words, and as you cast the invisibility spell and see his physical form slip behind the magic and vanish, you can still see his hazy outline, that drifting fog. You're able to perceive him
I'm like pure water,
still.
distilled water.
Yes. Though we can still kind of see you, so that's
Oh,
not
that's
quite
okay.
what I was
I'm
hoping
pretty
for.
sneaky.
All right, go catch up to them and see where they are. Don't want to use the sending stone unless it's for emergencies.
Okay, I'll come back and then I'll sneak ahead as well, and slip into the closest gap I can slip through.
Now, you sure you don't want to play cards? That's not what means.
There's a devil on your shoulder suddenly, Silvio. Looks oddly like Mimi. Just gently caresses your cheek and being like, come on, you want to play some cards, don't you? All right. Flurbix, you're moving closer to this place. Are you trying to get inside?
I am, yes. I'm trying to get inside. My main goal just to find where Teak and Noctis are.
Okay. So you're going to have to open this front door to get inside.
Is there any sort of a crack?
There is, but none of it is even anywhere close to big enough for you to be able to squeeze under, unfortunately. The wood itself looks like it has been... The planks of wood that have rotted look like some of them have settled onto the ground. You can see like one space where it might be big enough for you to slide under, but not all of you.
I saw where Teak went in, right? It was the open window.
This top side.
I got spider climb, so I'll just up the wall and through the window.
There you go. You Peter Parker it all the way up the door. As you begin to just move up, you get to the side and it's easy enough to just slip in. Make me a stealth check with advantages, please.
That was a 16.
16. Okay. You slurp on inside and drop down onto the infamous rolling barrel, which has been set. You don't make any noise as you feel it start to tip a little bit. You move off of it. You do see Teak, and you also see the outline of Noctis. They look like they've reached the bottom floor and are investigating everything that's down here. Those of you who are in here can now see that an invisible Flurbex has entered the room. It's kind of alarming to see at first because you're just looking at this gelatinous silhouette of fog move into the room, but then as it straightens up, everyone you realize what it is.
As soon as I see these two, Flurbex extends like a 10-foot pseudopod out the window to wave and signal that he's seen them, even though he doesn't remember that he's invisible, so they might not see him waving. But he like signals and then like gestures, point, and then goes in
see
to
the foggy
slip over to them. The foggy hand.
Yeah.
I'll just slip closer to these guys, and then I'll whisper, is that, are we bringing these two seem to be chained up? Are we releasing them?
That's what I'm gonna try to do.
Okay, I'll be
She
behind
was-
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
and Teak is going around the periphery,
Okay. You're going to go around the
checking
periphery?
the rest of the room for
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is definitely what I'm going to need to know exactly what everyone's doing since y'all are taking some actions to free them. So you Noctis are going to try to find a way to free them. Flurbix, what are you doing?
I'll just assist Noctis essentially. I'll
Okay.
go over to Noctis because if Noctis fails with thieves' tools or anything, then I can try and dissolve the shackles with my acid or something.
Okay.
So I'll just
And
be
then
helping, assisting.
Teak,
Yeah,
you're just
but-
taking a look around?
Well, Teak is like he's pretty sure that there's probably somebody that's going to be guarding them, so
Mhm.
he's going looking for that person because he's not invisible, so he's
Okay.
just very stealthy right now.
Yeah.
So he's looking.
Make-
He's going to look for trouble.
Okay, make me a perception check. And while that's happening, what is everybody else doing on the outside?
There's only two of us left at this point.
three
there's
three
three of
out
you.
here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Celine is still at the door, and she's gonna draw her sword, and is just essentially waiting for any sort of signal to charge in and start chopping.
Okay. Ready for a breaching action? What are you doing, Silvio?
Trying to decide whether I should want to give someone inspiration or want to save it for any potential cutting words I might need. I still only have 4, and I already used 2.
No, it's your call.
I'll hold them.
I think
You can
Mimi
use
is
them in
going
battle.
to.
You can just yell, "Hey, you're gonna do the next thing real good."
Mimi will move, following Celine's sort of point on this, is going to get closer to the door and sort of like ready in action, have the quarterstaff out. If we get a signal from that sending stone that all hell is breaking loose or that it's time to bust through those doors, Mimi's going to be ready to go.
Okay. All right. You two creep up to the unconscious or slight half-conscious cloud giant and Nurbib. Nurbib's eyes roll back to blink and look at you as you are moving up, and you see he smiles with his broken, sharpened teeth in his mouth, and he goes, Is that you? Hey there, Noctis. You're looking good. How you been?
She's just gonna roll her eyes and go,
And then you see his face fall and go, wait. And as he starts to say that, blessedly, because Teak made his perception check, Teak, as you're creeping around, the smell of death gets stronger, that smell of rot. And you glance over at one of these towers of crates. It's a little closer to the door, so it's actually kind of close to where the other party members are currently hunkered outside and ready to kick the door in Punisher style if something goes wrong. As you creep up to this tower of crates, the stench grows a little bit stronger. You feel your stomach begin to churn a little bit as it's becoming harder to deny that something very wrong is here. You peek around the corner and immediately pull yourself back instinctively upon the sight of what looks like just hovering there. The large bulbous orb of an undead beholder, hovering just a few feet above the ground. Its eye is rotted and rolled slightly into the back of its head, and a tongue is lolling out to the side. It's just hovering there. You saw it just for a second. The eye stalks, all dead, didn't look like they spotted you, but as it's just kind of drifting there, there were things behind it, but you didn't take a look at what they were. You're pretty sure it didn't see you, though. It's just there. And it is very much active. You could see its tongue moving as it was just going. Ugh. You're currently pressed up against the crates.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Teak's like this.
Make me a perception check real quick, Noctis.
"8."
Okay. You don't see Teak reacting to something terrifying around the other side of the corner. You're too busy staring at Nurbib, but Nurbib looks like he's terrified and is trying to communicate something to you. But he looks so out of it, he's not able to use his words.
Okay, well, if I'm not fully cut onto it, I'm just gonna try to move as quickly as possible and look for a way to free him and the cloud giantess.
Okay. Oh, we lost Jody. All right. Yeah, you're back. So I would say make an investigation check as you're searching around.
19.
Okay, you start looking around the immediate area and you see there are signs of people that have come and gone through here, but you don't see any signs of like a key or something that's been kept around this place to free them. It looks like anything that was meant to unlock these shackles is probably not in the immediate area as you do a thorough search. With a 19, though, on an investigation check, it's kind of difficult to miss Teak, frozen in horror, up against the crates. You can see he looks thoroughly frozen, like a kid that's hiding from velociraptors in a kitchen. He's just kind of frozen up against the crates, like.
Okay. So I don't see any like clear like means of like, are they in chains or how are they trapped?
They look like so you're talking about Nurbib and the Cloud Giantess. They look like
Yeah.
they're just. It looks like their hands and feet have been shackled by chains,
Okay.
been clapped in irons, basically.
Okay.
They do have lockpick spots where you might be able to try to pick those locks.
Okay. I think I probably will do that, but what
Okay.
I'm going to do first is try to signal the other crew outside.
Okay. What you can send a 25-word message to Mimi. What would you like to say?
Oh, okay. 25
Oh.
words.
Because who
But
has
I
the
mean,
sending stone?
Wait, I have the sending stone.
Oh, okay. So you can send it. You can send the message.
but if you're too, I mean, maybe you could toss it to me if you don't want to risk it. I don't know.
No, sure. Teek's on the other side of this crate that you just saw an undead beholder. He'll shakingly hold up the sending stone.
Okay.
Oh my god. He's gonna speak that close to a beholder.
It's either that or Flubix signals them with a horn he's just been given.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh
we're gonna
no.
You know, that wouldn't be a horrible idea, actually.
we might need to back up.
Yeah. So Teak look I guess like looks over his body's just frozen. He looks over at the images that he knows is Florbrooks and Noctis, and he just like with one hand he tries to he's like that to them, like that's all he can do to them, and then like in this sending stone he goes, beholder.
And what you hear, Mimi, is quack, quack, meow.
Damn these wild surges. But, however,
Markia.
anything that
You can only speak using animal noises until your next long or short rest.
I love that it was that, and it wasn't owl sounds.
Nope. That's my rule. A creature can understand you only if they can speak with animals.
But he can use owl sounds as owl sounds, right?
I mean, if
Wait,
Who?
how did that go?
Who can? Who?
you
Derek, how did
basically
that sound?
you basically it's Teak mimicking animal sounds.
Mhm.
So you basically hear Teak's impression of wink, wink, meow.
Then he's gonna go for the full 25 words on
Okay.
his side. If this is like a movie, on his side, you see him like
Hear
very impassioned and dramatic,
and just like
and then on
talking.
their side, yeah.
You are hearing the
Like,
most bizarre nonsense coming out of the sending stone.
Can
Look,
we all hear it or
any
just me?
any sound that came out of the stone gives me signal that something's wrong. So I immediately like do some sort of hand motion to Celine, and I
Can
have
we
no
all
idea
hear
what
it?
Sylvia is
Yeah.
doing.
No, only the people holding the sending stone can hear it.
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
like
I wanted to.
woof
I-
woof woof.
If you give
Wow, wow,
Celine
wow,
a
wow.
signal,
Yep.
Celine could take one door if Mimi has the other and just push in at the same time.
Bow,
I'm
wow,
gonna
wow,
blast those
yippee-yo.
double doors open if I can.
Yeah, that works too.
However y'all want to do
Dramatic
it.
entrance.
All right, so what do y'all do?
Go big or go
I'm
home.
gonna use my staff and I'm going to bust those doors down. Actually, no, I'm just gonna cast pass wall.
Nice.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna
That's one way to do it.
wave the quarterstaff over the wooden door, and an entrance opens for an hour.
Okay. Anything else that'll help avoid the sound of the doors opening.
Mm.
1 second here. Mimi, the good news is because you've been struck twice now with surges, you've only got one left. Bad,
Thank goodness.
bad news is though is you forget how to speak, read, or write in common for 1 hour. So you can use any other language, but it can't be common.
Kein Problem. Wir können Deutsch sprechen.
All right, we're set.
Los geht's.
And you cast the spell. The wall itself begins to shimmer. It's visible to you guys as y'all can pass through this portal. But as the arcane words come out, Mimi, the spell works. Teak, on the other side of the door, the beholder stirs, aware that someone is casting magic. You hear as it kind of twitches a little bit. And then whoever goes in first would like to go in.
Selena will take point. She already has the sword out, and as she steps in, she's going to cast Divine Sense.
You step into the room, you hone in on your divine sense, and oh boy, this place is filled with the undead. The beholder, yes, but there are more in here. And Celine, you can feel the unholy presence of undeath in this place, a place that is crying out to be cleansed in holy fire.
She's just gonna her little metal jaw's gonna creak into a smile, and she's gonna speak to her sword, who is apparently also now her new best friend, to say, "We've got some work to do. It looks like." And
One by one, you all enter into the barn. As you do, I'll let you set up where and how you are, but we are going to roll initiative now.
Yeah.
So
would Teak have surprise on the beholder?
you guys are all getting surprise on the beholder. It failed its well, no, actually, yes, Teak would have surprise on the beholder because the beholder's passive perception is absolutely pathetic. So it did not detect you at all. But I would say everyone else is definitely going to need to roll initiative.
that was terrible.
Celine,
Nice.
you rolled a 5 total
Nice.
for your initiative.
Mm-hmm. It's just there's so many undead. It takes her a minute to figure out a first target. You know,
that's fair.
too many choices.
All right, Teak, did you roll initiative?
Oh, I thought I did not.
You're still,
I'm rolling it right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I was planning what I was going to do. Okay.
Okay, so before
19.
we start combat, Teak, you are going to get a free action, a free round on the beholder, but only the beholder. What would you like to do?
Okay, so first off, it's already an oldie but a goodie. So we're gonna do what works best. It's gonna have to be something that I don't speak to do it, but that's okay. That's good. It's fine. I'm trying to find my Eldritch Claw tattoo. All right, so for the free action, so that's a bonus action and action that I get, or just an action?
No, you get a full round.
Full round. Let's do
You
it.
get a full round to do something. So you can do like basically a standard round of whatever you would do in combat.
Glorious. All right, so it's been a day, so that means I'm going to do Eldritch Maul with my Eldritch Claw tattoo. So I'm activating that.
Okay.
So I'm empowering it for the next minute. Each of my melee attacks with a weapon or an unarmed strike reach a target up to 15 feet away from me. And I do an extra 1d6 force of damage on each hit.
My goodness.
All right, so we have that. Let me write that down for myself. 1d6. All right. So that's my bonus action. So I'm going to stay 15 feet.
Oh no! Hold on one sec. It just wiped. The page just automatically refreshed itself, and now I have to enter all your initiatives manually. I don't know why I did that.
Killed the beholder, everybody. We did it.
Yeah.
Wild Surge.
Good job,
Yay for Wild
everyone.
Surge.
Good job. We did it.
We did
Well
it. You removed
done.
removed the beholder from existence. Okay, so Noctis was on a 17, Flurbix was on a 20. No joke. Silvio, you're usually the initiative king. Yep, 23. Okay. And then
It's good because I can react fastest, and most of what I do is like, you
Yeah.
suck.
Teak, and then Celine was on a 5. Boo. Okay, and then there's their initiative. Okay, cool. All right.
All right,
So,
cool.
what are you doing, Teak?
So my Eldritch Claw tattoo is powered up, and I'm gonna be a petty sneak, and I'm staying 15 feet away, and I'm gonna hit, well, hopefully hit the beholder twice with my +2 short sword.
Okay.
So,
See how
oh,
awesome
that
this
was
short sword
so
is.
close. That was so close.
Yeah, that's not gonna hit.
Yeah. Let's see this.
Second one,
Ooh.
16 will hit though.
Okay, so
So give me some damage.
one of them hits. I already used my bonus action. But wait, I don't punch good. Arms of the flurry of bows. No bonus. Yeah, bonus unarmed or monk weapon. You can make bonus. Okay, cool. I was just making sure. All right,
Yeah.
so I did hit it once.
Yep. Roll damage. 10 points.
Plus the 1d6. Let me.
Plus a d6.
Oh, well, you know.
1 point of damage. The beholder doesn't even react. As the damage occurs to it, the body shudders a little bit, and then it just goes, and the eye rolls from its rotting lids, and it focuses on you. You see the dead irises just go, like, focus hard and stare directly at you as it begins to lurch forward. And
I was behind it.
you
Yeah.
were behind it.
I was behind it because there were the crates.
Okay. Oh no, it was facing forward. You weren't behind it. It was facing forward and it didn't see you when you peeked around the corner.
Okay, so the corner of the crates.
The crates. So when you looked around the corner, you saw the beholder looking back and it didn't spot you. So when you jumped out and attacked it again, I mean, it's kind of superfluous, really, because the attack is going to cause it to turn around and move anyway. So it doesn't really, it doesn't matter that much. But basically,
I guess in my theater of the mind, I had hopped on top of the crates. I didn't say that though. I didn't say that out loud because it's like he's a flyer, so he'd get high, and then like I have 15 feet of melee range.
Okay, so you want to be on top of the crates then to make this attack? Because you have a move action. If you want to say you do that, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'd like to be on top of the crates.
Okay, so then you did basically just a big quick hop, like landed on top of the crates and then through the attack.
Yes.
Okay, in which case the beholder just angles itself up and notices you instead of turning around, but you have high ground right now.
Yes.
So it just kind of looks up at you, and that's going to be the start of combat. That's going to take us to Silvio. Silvio, you move into this room. I'm going to assume combat starts once you're inside for your actions, so that way you don't have to use a combat action to move into the place. But you see the giantess, you see the unconscious Nurbid, well, the slightly conscious Nurbid that's talking or was talking to Noctis. You see what looks like Teak is on top of the stack of crates. The place is starting to glow brightly because right now Celine is basically shining this big golden candle of a blade in this place. And you see the top eye stalks of something behind the crates where you are. It's not hidden from your point of view. It was from where they were coming from. But it is clearly a beholder. And
other than the beholder, are there any other obvious enemies?
No. You see a bunch of crates all over the place, stacked high. And a big orb of eye stalks that are suddenly, they look broken and they're twisting up to look in the direction of Teak.
The Noctis is by Nurbib, right?
Noctis is right in front of Nurbib.
And she's already seems to be handling that. And the Cloud Giantess
is unconscious. She looks like, or if she's not unconscious, she looks like she's out. And in terrible shape.
All right. Well, I'm going to what's the beholder's relation to the the Nurbib and the Giantess? Is it like right above you said earlier,
The
or
beholder is behind a stack of crates. Teak leapt 15 feet off the ground, is on top of the crates, but is basically 10 feet above the beholder.
All right. I'm going to look over at let's see, that's a concentration spell. Oh, the other thing's also a concentration spell. Darn this action economy. Okay, let's start easy. No, but everything's all all right. I don't know what to do.
You got to do something. You got to do it fast because stuff is happening.
I am going to try to stay out of the beholder's sight and cut the corner to the room. I'm trying to just stay out of the beholder's sight, but try to get a better view of everything so that should I need to like react to things or cast spells, I can have a better view. But I'm not going to take any active action beyond doing so.
Because you're basically going to move on the battlefield to try to get a better angle so you don't get noticed by the beholder.
Yes.
Make me a perception check.
Oh.
As you move onto the battlefield, serving around the corner. Okay. You move away from the beholder, Silvio. Your survival instinct, everything you know, to move as fast away from the beholder as possible. And as you move around one of the crates, you see a pile of gore on the other side of the crates. It looks like meat and blood spread out everywhere, and something is hunched over it. And as soon as you round this corner of the crates, a ghast looks up over its shoulder at you, and just this tongue that is unnaturally long from a missing jaw just hangs out of its head, and it leaps up to its feet, very excited to see living prey. You've used your move action, but now you see there's a ghast here. What would you like to do?
I go, hello there. And then I
You handed a toy?
Yeah, why not? Let's start here. I dissonant whispers on the ghast.
Okay.
So I'll cast that.
Casting dissonant whispers.
It's now a wisdom save on the ghast and against 16.
What kind of spell is it?
Is
it charm?
First level enchantment.
Enchantment? Okay, cool. So dissonant whispers, it uses wisdom save, and it needs to, what number does it need to hit?
16.
Did not make it.
All right. So that's a 3d6 psychic damage, which I just rolled.
Yeah.
And it must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
Okay. It goes and starts grabbing at its head and starts clawing at its own flesh as it starts to rush away from you. It rounds one of the corners. At this point, everyone sees the ghast suddenly appear as it steps out from behind a stack of crates and begins to move as far away from where it just was. However, if you still have a reaction, you can take an attack of opportunity as this guy has to move away. Well, no, he has to move away from you. So he actually
also
moves.
has to move away from me when it's not my turn, right? That's how reactions work.
Right. Yeah. So he is going to push, but you guys all see the ghast basically trying to get away from Silvio. That's going to take us to Flurbix's turn.
Alrighty, so Flurbix looking around. I've got the cloud giant and the imp that are shackled up in front of us. I've got a ghast and a beholder. I'm aware of all of this. Like, we can all see it all.
Yes. Y'all can all notice the beholder.
Do I get the impression from being right up close to the shackles of this cloud giantess that these shackles are like really sturdy, or could I just kill them with some acid? Like,
it looks like they're shackles strong enough to contain a cloud giant. Your impression is they're probably pretty sturdy.
Pretty sturdy. So it's going to take more than me just hitting it with acid for it to break out. I am going to just out of sort of instinct just turn towards the ghast and then just spit this huge glob of like very concentrated acid at it and cast acid arrow.
Oh, because a classic. It's good to see.
I know, right? It's a classic. Classic acid arrow, and I have advantage because I'm invisible, I assume, yes?
That's correct. Yes, you are still invisible. This will blink you back into existence.
This will blink me back in, but with the advantage, do double 12s. So 19 to hit with the acid arrow. The ghast takes however much this rolls, 10 points of acid, and then is covered in acid and will take half as much again on the next turn.
He's having a very bad day, this gas. He was just
and then
eating
I'll
his
just-
meal.
And then
Okay.
I'll just use my movement to just kind of slop over the chains to the cloud giantess and be like, "Hey, we're gonna get you free." Leaving the actual shackle free for picking if we need to.
Okay.
But just like the chain itself, I'm just going to try and start working away at that.
As soon as you move up to the giant, it's getting there is not a problem. And as you move up, but you do glance to your left as you move past the stack of crates, the undead beholder that has currently got this black ichor coming out of the wound that was just given to it by Teak. That is going to actually now take us to Teak's turn. Teak, you get to go.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yes. So what Teek's gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and hit twice again.
Okay.
See how this goes. Dang. This thing. Yikes. All right, so for bonus action then.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I hit with either of those, right? 11
for-
and a 15.
Let me double check. The 15 hits.
15 hits. Cool. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and roll for damage for each of those. Oh wait, one. It was one, right? One. That plus
Yeah, only one
the
hit.
1d6. Okay, so that's another
13 points of damage.
13 points of damage.
Okay.
That was just the attack. So
Yep.
I'm going to spend a key point for that to be for unarmed strike.
Okay. But you
I'm
still
sorry,
get range.
I'm
Stunning
sorry.
strike,
Stunning
stunning
strike is what I meant to say.
Okay.
So I'm spending a key point for stunning strike, and stunning strike is let me read the.
Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the Constitution saving throw for it. Here it is. DC 14 is the con saving throw for stunning strike.
All right. The holder rolls a 13 plus its con, it saves.
Okay. Then for the bonus action,
Mhm.
I'm going to go ahead and spend. Well, for the bonus action, I'm gonna let's just spend all of this on action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that it?
So I'm gonna spend another key point. Make
Okay.
2 more unarmed strikes as my bonus action, because a stunning strike isn't a bonus action.
Okay.
It's
No,
whenever I hit with
whenever it
a
hits.
weapon
Yep.
melee.
It also
So-
applies to your unarmed strike, so you can do it on your flurry as well. Every time you hit, you can just try and stunning strike it.
So
If
I'm
you have the
gonna.
key
That's
points.
exactly what I'm gonna do. So
Okay.
I have two
get this.
more hits. It says that it has to be 2 unarmed strikes though.
For flurry blows.
No. It's like or a monk weapon, and I
Or a
made that
monk
my
weapon.
dedicated weapon. All right. So spending key point for those 2 strikes. Here we go. 2 more.
All right.
Dang, this is not. Ugh.
Yep.
That
Those
is
are going to
not
miss.
going well. All right, and then with that, Teak is going to. Oh, I'm above it. I don't get any kind of advantage for the high ground?
Nope. Not on the.
Okay, cool stuff. Then that's that.
Okay.
Teak will, since he's 15 feet away, he'll now do a movement, like he'll fly away. No, you know what? Screw it. He'll stay where he is.
Okay. Staying where you are.
Staying where he is.
Okay, next up is the Ghast. The Ghast is going to beeline straight for the people that are near the that are actually near the giantess, as it's trying to move as quickly away from Silvio as possible, and it sees the one that threw the acid at it. So the Ghast is going to
Bring
move
it.
right up on you, Flurbex. Just shuffles up on you as quickly as it can. This horrific undead creature, and it is
AC
going
17.
to
Let's go.
attempt to attack you. 17 to hit.
17 is my armor class.
Okay. Chomp. It just clawed you. You were going to take 10 points of damage, and I
Nice.
need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right, easy peasy. Got good con. Yeah, 19.
Yep, you easily pass that con check. You feel the coldness of death in your body for a second, but you easily push it away. All right, that's going to be the ghast's turn. It is now Noctis's turn.
Okay, I'm going to do a sneak attack, which I think I can do because I'm invisible, right?
Yes, you have advantage.
Great. Okay, and then I'm going to, I have one dagger that's +3 and one that's +1.
Okay.
I'm dual wielding, so I'm going to
All
attack
right.
with those. So 25.
25. All right, that definitely hits. You're attacking the ghast?
Yes.
That definitely hits. 10 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Okay.
And then roll again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Offhand
10.
attack. So that's not going to hit.
Okay.
But that first attack, you slam the dagger into its chest, and you see the gas nearly folds in on itself. It bursts out the back, and as you pull the dagger out, the gas stumbles forward, and you can tell it is in bad shape. However, any creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of the gas must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. So if you would please roll me a con save.
Yep.
Just before that, just in case it takes it out at the end of the guest's turn, it took another 7 acid damage from my acid arrow.
In that case, it is going to melt into nothing. But unfortunately, Noctis, unless you have any kind of thing to stop this from happening, you are poisoned until the start of your next turn.
No!
You feel the stench of death on this thing is so much that you start to gag immediately. And then it just bubbles into a puddle of undeath and rot as the acid just eats away at what was left after you damaged it. You basically set it up so the damage could destroy the rest of it. And that's going to be the end of your turn. You guys hear movement as, for their action, 3 ghouls burst forth from the sides of the entire party. Their action is basically just going to be entering combat this turn as all 3 of them pop out. We're going to skip ahead then as they emerge as these undead ghouls just, as everyone is getting stirred up here. Beholder, though, turns its attention to Teak, who is above it, and just decides to randomly roll. Okay, Teak, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Got it.
Okay. And then I need you to make me another Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Oh, no. Okay.
I knew it was a gamble. Let's do it.
Oh, boy.
Let's do it.
Oh, boy. How many hit points do you have, Teak?
Not
Less
enough.
now. Less
Not
now.
enough. That's for sure.
Teak, you take 35 points of necrotic damage.
I knew I should have moved him away. Okay, so of necrotic.
Of
Dang,
necrotic
I don't
damage
have any
as-
kind of defense against. I have lightning and radiant.
The
Okay.
first eye stalk sends a beam of energy. You leap out of the way right into the second one. And this black beam of energy slams into you. You feel the life force seize up. You all watch Teak as their eyes, he widens and he just topples over. And you watch Teak drop
He's unconscious.
at
I
0.
reckon you should have stunning striked it. You should have stunned it.
I tried. I
Should've
tried
just
to.
stunned
It
it.
made
Why didn't you just stun
It
it?
made the saves.
it made the save. I tried 2 times.
I reckon go back and just wreck on it instead of stun.
Mimi, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm going to turn to
I thought I was
yes.
going before Mimi.
Yeah,
You're
you
both
are,
on
but I
5,
have a
but
very
Mimi
cool
has-
thing.
Oh, okay, got it.
I turn to Celine
Mhm.
and I wave the quarterstaff over you and I cast enlarge.
Stop! So cool.
Where once was just a small metal mechanome, there is now a 10-foot battle mech of a gnome.
Hell
wielding this
yeah!
Avenger. All right, you are now enlarged.
Go
How
get
I
him!
don't know how to add that to my character sheet, but
You don't necessarily need to add anything. It will
it's-
just increase your strength.
It's
But
underwhelming. It's underwhelming. It
It's
adds
very
a D4 to
underwhelming.
your.
But it looks awesome.
It adds a D4 to your damage.
Yep,
I
Right.
mean that's helpful.
it's your
Uh,
turn.
Yeah, so Celine now probably has a really good view of that beholder and
Well, you
saw what
just
it
saw
did to
it
Teak.
drop. Yeah, you just saw it drop Teak in one hit.
So nothing fancy. She is just gonna storm forward and attack it with her new sword, which now looks kind of actually small in her hand, weirdly.
Probably looks like it's a good single hand. It looks like a typical longsword in your hand right now as you charge up on the beholder. Go ahead and make your attack.
Okay.
Remember, you do have inspiration, so if the worst should come to pass, like that, for example, you
But
can
also
spend.
I have built for or oh no, I have inspiration.
Yeah, you have a point of inspiration, so you can re-roll that with advantage. Basically, rolling. Nat
Nat 20.
20 with the Holy Avenger against an undead.
Smite, 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 smite.
Oh yeah, well, I mean damage first.
You know to
Uh
right click and roll
You
for
can-
crit damage, right?
oh, nope.
Yep. Is the
Oh,
damage
You
is
can-
doubled.
it did it automatically, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah,
So that's
because
27, but because it's the sword,
and
it
this does
does
double this. I don't think the sword does double damage. Just the
no,
just
but
the
the
strike
sword does extra
Yeah.
2d10 radiant damage.
Yep. Yep.
So rolling that is another 10.
37 points.
Is it still standing?
It is still alive.
Divine Smite.
Okay.
It's
So that's another.
the 2d10 from the extra sword for being undead also gets doubled for crit, right?
I wasn't sure. I don't think it does, but it must because Divine
Everybody
Smite gets crit.
Yeah, everybody
And
does.
don't forget
crits
to
differently,
That's
so
an
don't forget to
extra-
add your extra
Yeah.
D4 of damage.
It does.
Too.
Yeah, it does. So yes, go ahead and roll the 2d10 again and add that as well, and then Divine Smite with a crit.
Yeah, and then your D4. Your
Yeah.
extra.
So another 15 points.
Avenge me!
Yeah, boy, let's go. Let's go.
I'm rolling that extra d4 just to do it, and then,
you'll do another 3
3d10
points of damage.
undead.
And then
Another 26.
another 20. Okay, well, the beholder around the corner, a gnome roughly the size of the just slightly smaller than the cloud giantess suddenly emerges, glistening with this oil of slipperiness catching the light as you're holding this big holy avenger in single hand. You just raise it over your head and bring this holy blade down onto the beholder and split it clean in half.
So here's the thing. How close are the ghouls? Because I now get 2 attacks when I attack.
The ghouls are, well, they're all within 10 feet of you because they're all coming out of the crates.
Okay, yeah, so I am going to turn and take a
Cleave.
second. Yeah, just right into one of the ghouls.
Okay. The beholder hasn't even finished lighting into holy flame as 2 halves of it drop to the ground with a sickening squelching sound as the top 2 large orbs just and fall off to the side. You whirl around just as one of the ghouls is emerging from one of these crates, like it's stepping out of its coffin, and make your attack.
And I think didn't realize how tall I am. Well, hold on. I can do built for success and add a d4 to that. So
That's that. So to give you
that
guys,
makes it a 12.
and
to
that's
hit.
exactly what you needed to hit them. Their AC is 12. You rolled an 11 and used your gnome ability and got the one you needed. So go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. That is 13 damage, but it is these are undead too, right?
They are very undead, yes.
That's the extra 2d10.
Good lord.
And so that's an extra 12 damage.
And you split that ghoul in half. Its upper part of its body ignites into holy flame as it sails across the room while its legs crumble to ash. In
She's
that
just like,
moment,
who's next?
and Celine, you holy smite and obliterate the beholder in one attack, whirling around and totally splitting in half the ghoul, and triumphantly say, "Who's next?" And just as you say that, you grow an entire fluffy beard of feathers. And then around your head. And you begin to realize you're slipping back into Grimble.
But no, my sword.
And that's the last thing you hear from Celine as she begins to switch. And just as you begin to spurt your robe, the person that walked out The person that apparently was conducting the interrogation, having heard all of this, at the end of this combat round, bursts back into the room. The master of these creatures. And that will have to be revealed next week. As it is exactly 4 p.m. our time here. So that's going to actually bring a cliffhanger ending
Damn.
to only one round of combat. So when we come back, Teak is in rough shape. We need to help Teak.
I got this.
And it looks like a boss fight or something else could be on the horizon for when you all arrive. But holy crap, this was Jody's last game of Board Rats for the season, and playing their character Celine, and boy oh boy did you take her out with a blaze of glory. Also, I just want to give a shout out to all the players who were supporting to make sure that Jody got a round in combat before we had to wrap,
Thank
because
you,
everyone was being super
everybody.
cool about that. Good lord, you did that. Beholder had roughly, it had over 60 hit points still, and you dropped it. Absolutely slaughtering it with that sword, critting on your last combat roll against the Beholder. Pretty spectacular.
Yeah, if you're gonna go out, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to go. We will be back for the finale next Sunday with all these wonderful players. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for joining us again. And if you haven't been throwing in any bits to help the players, they're going to need it next week. Until then, take care. Happy rolling. We're done. We out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.